Are you ready to unleash your creative razzle-dazzle? Then join the Canary Cry new stock producers and make some refrigerator art for the show. Show your support with your talent at canarycry.party. Your mom will thank you.
Yo, you curious about blockchain technology? Your boys Basil and Gons at CCNT have gone full crypto bro. Tune in to your favorite Sigma males and discover the world of blah blah blockchain. Don't miss out, fam. Join the ride and level up your crypto game.
Investing in cryptocurrency involves significant risk and can result in substantial or complete loss of funds. The information provided by CCNT, Basil and Gons is for educational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Always conduct your own research and consult with a professional financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Razzle Dazzle, it's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary Cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye, VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry New Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Gons.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for being here. We're here. Last show of the year. We're excited. We're so excited. And so should you be. Thanks for being here, everybody who's live. What's going on in the Rumble? We got Will Tabac, Sue RN, Guitarman86 on the YouTube. We got Leo. We got Wheezy. We got Not the Gozerian. What's going on? Let's see. Digital Generation. I don't know why I say it like that every time, but Denise, what's going on? Daniel G, Equo26, BC17Q, Emily, Estimating 1, Discovering 3. We got the whole gang here. Thanks for being here, everybody. Just a quick shout out here at the top for everybody who is on the text message alert system. You know what's going to happen, folks. I say it all the time. And everything I say always comes true. You should know that by now. You will get unsubscribed unknowingly. Doesn't matter if it's Rumble, doesn't matter if it's YouTube, wherever you follow us, you're going to get unsubscribed eventually. It's just mathematically a matter of time. You're going to stop getting notifications. This happens all the time. And what you really want to do is A, get on the newsletter. Go to canarycry.party. You'll see a button for the newsletter. Get on that. But once you're on that, you should join the text message alert system. That's right. It's very fun. You'll just receive a text from me personally before every show, before we go live a couple times a week, including, emergency announcements or something like that if we need to guide you to where the show is going to be. You need a direct line, and that's what this is. So take out your phone right now, text the word Canary. You must text the word Canary, C-A-N-A-R-Y, to 877-740-3226. Again, that's 877-740-3226. We had a ton of people sign up over the Christmas break. That's fun. Fun part is, not only will you get a text from me all the time, but you can text us back. That's right. You can text that number back. We get the message. We read all the messages. We cannot respond to you. Keep this in mind. Some people are asking questions and stuff. We cannot respond to you because it's extremely expensive for us. But we like to read them here on the show sometimes. 661 says, yippee! 785 sent a bird and a heart emoji. I thought it was a shrimp at first. 406 says, thank goodness. I needed you guys. Well, we're here. We need you, 406. 615 says, God bless Basil and Gons. Get 'em, boys, says 206. Let's see here. 406 says, yay, company while I shovel snow. Happy holidays, Canary fam. Oh, that's Monica. Thank you very much, Monica. 954 says, buddy o Basil. That's me. Sir Tristan here, tuning in while moving houses. Much love. Oh, that's stressful. Sorry, dude. That's a stressful thing to do. Do you know that moving house is it's on the list of the top 3 most stressful things you can do in your life? One is divorce. The other is a loved one dying. And number 3 is moving house. So stay solid there, Sir Tristan. Thank you. Let's see here. 980 says, hi, boys. Keep up the great work. In 2024, out with a bang. RSS feed for me tomorrow. Okay, see you out there, RSS feed listeners. One last one from Kat. Says, yay, Happy New Year. May the Lord bless you both, dear brothers. May his face shine upon you and fill you with his wisdom. Go ahead right now. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Let's start the show.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is December 30th, 2024. We are live to tape on episode 803, and today, EGGENICS. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gons, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the land of Newscomb to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomenon, step aside, Gen Alpha. Welcome, Generation Beta. Gen Beta.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Just a couple days away. This is NBCnews.com. Move over, Gen Alpha. 2025 marks the start of the Gen Beta era. Experts predict that babies born in 2025 and later, I think it's up to 2039 or something, will grow up deeply integrated with AI. Yeah. Many will live to see the 22nd century. This is NBC News, Basil.
Well, I mean, it's true.
So I implore everybody having babies starting in 2025 to not let the culture define your child.
It's not going to be
some
easy.
kind of beta male or beta female. Now your allegiance is going to be to the alpha and omega, and I think that's the way to go. But you know, hey,
it is interesting, like the recognition that AI is going to be the alpha of humanity,
deeply integrated with AI.
Human generation will be sort of subservient to the AI god. Yeah, that's.
I mean, it doesn't get more dystopian than this article though, because the header image is an overshot, a black and white picture of babies inside like a hospital, like newborn babies, and then it says "coming soon" in cursive, Gen Beta in big green letters. Yeah, looks like a poor Photoshop job.
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. This is very clearly some Gen Z. Aesthetic, the graphic arts aesthetic, which is fun and funny because for millennials it seems very dated, it seems very unprofessional. It seems sort of chaotic. The choice of colors, the different fonts being used. It's very what is that?
Stock.
Yeah, that curly Q kind of cursive one. It starts with a Z. I forget what it is, but it's like you'd use it on all your school reports or something to make it look fancy, make your your work look fancier. Especially for those who grew up kind of making videos in the like early 2000s, 2010s. Editing videos for your school or something like that. You'd always look for these exact fonts, basically. And of course, that green that cannot be mistaken for any other color than Brat Green. Thank
Brat
you,
Green.
Charlie XCX on that. Yeah, well, that's kind of, I don't know if depressing is the right word, but it's traumatizing me in a very deep level. So thank you for the start. I mean, but it's 2024. Everything has been traumatizing me
That's
at
true.
a very deep level this entire year. So
Personal traumas, worldwide traumas,
spiritual
trauma,
all sorts
all
of
the
stuff.
above. Yeah,
You see, these kids love that word, trauma. Thank you. Thank you for the cool new word. Let's see here. What was I going to do? I had something here at the top, and I just completely forgot. I have no
That's
idea.
good. This is why we podcast live, because
This
we
is why
love
we
these
do it.
moments.
We're
We
not
love
AI, folks.
We're not AI.
Not
We
AI.
we do forget. We do fail.
Well, with that, let's see here. New Year's Eve is tomorrow.
Yes.
Is there anything we should expect? Is there going to be like a Y2K type of phenomenon?
I don't know. We should maybe talk about some of that in the show, or maybe leading up to the inauguration. There's a lot going on with what might go down. I don't know about New Year's Eve. There's always something, but I don't know that it's going to be like a
I'll say this
earth-shattering event.
I have never had, I don't think. I mean, maybe, it's tough because there's no time like the present. But I cannot remember any other New Year's Eve where I was so relieved to be moving on to the next year. Now, of course, this has sort of no basis in reality. This is a psychological effect of, New Year's and sort of the cultural framework of starting anew.
Yes.
When the fact is, nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same.
It might change for a week or two, but normally people just snap back to what their habits and patterns in a couple weeks. That's
who
the majority.
knows? Maybe the lizard people will
They'll turn on a switch, and we will all be activated, and we will become.
Everything will be fine. We'll be the hive mind. We'll all be happy. We'll own nothing and be happy. We can stop, striving for things like personal freedom and.
What do you mean you own nothing? Look at the numbers on that screen of yours. Look how big that number is.
Ownership of property. Which number? There's so many numbers.
Yeah, all kinds of numbers.
Yeah, well, they could all be bigger. I'll tell you that.
That's true. You're
any
right.
number,
we're all greedy. We're all greedy. We all want more.
Literally any number that's going to be showing up on a screen that belongs to me, it could have some more numbers attached to it, but that's okay. All right, well, let's do it. What do you say? Let's do, what am I going to do? Play that disclaimer one last time. This year.
Okay.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
Now, somebody might have been tempted when I'm talking about the numbers on my screen should all be bigger. You might be tempted to assume I'm talking about maybe a bank account or a followers list or a like on YouTube or something. But what I was really had in mind was my IQ. You take these IQ tests online, and it's never quite as high as you'd hope, or as you'd expect, I think. Kind of like my typing score from the episode a while back.
Yes. Right. That was
extraordinarily low typing score. But I think, I'm turning it around, because that means that, the robots, they're,
why do you need to type? Let the robot type.
Yeah, that's what AI is for.
Flippy will type for me. That's been your plan all along.
Yeah, I'm so anti-establishment that in typing class in school in the 4th grade or something, I rebelled against the system and typed slow.
Did you rebel against a letter? Was it a particular letter that you didn't really?
Oh, it was all of them. It was all of them.
It was all the letters.
It's kind of like the government. You can try to blame any individual letter, but really it's the system. It's the whole alphabet.
That's true. The alphabet,
the QWERTY keyboard, like the fact the letters are all jumbled up, makes no sense. This is a nice metaphor for how the bureaucratic system is meant to confuse and oppress just regular folks trying to navigate empire. The QWERTY keyboard, the Q is by the W, the H is by the U. Nothing makes sense, and it's supposed to be that way, folks. That's how they keep us down, but no longer. We're going to thrive in 2025. Let's put these alphabets in order on the keyboard. We're changing it all. Switch it up. That way the robots won't know what we're trying to type. You could just pop the keys off of your keyboard and put them back on, like in order. Now that's not going to make the keyboard operate any differently, but when you can type,
each key.
I know you can, but you can, if we just pop the letters off and put them in order, but then type as normally, we'll have a pretty good Caesar cipher worked out.
That is a great cipher. Yeah, it's not Caesar, but it is a cipher. It would be a type of
cipher. Anyways.
Well, it wouldn't be because it.
That might be hey, CIA.
It's its own cipher.
Give me a job, CIA. I'm your new Enigma machine. Let me into the office. I'll pop off the keys off of the keyboard. I'll rearrange them, and then all of your communications will be in an undecipherable codex that will keep our national security intact. With that gone, speaking of cryptic things, let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Bird flu. Come learn about the hottest new trend in virology sweeping the nation. And get ready, you don't want to be left behind, folks. Speaking of which, we're going to be talking just a bit about quantum teleportation has been achieved over the internet for the first time. Don't worry. Actually, do worry. Worry a lot, because this is the end of the world. Facebook and Instagram are planning to add millions of AI accounts and have them act like real humans. This is going to be turning social media networks into something more akin to an entertainment product generated by robots. Dead internet theory is true, always has been, and now they're just disclosing it. What's up, my dead internet theory heads out there? Talking about Trump, the H-1B visa conversation. And once again, don't worry, folks, we're not going to be rehashing or solving the problem or figuring it out here. We're much more interested in what could be behind all the hullabaloo regarding the H-1B visa debate. Then we've got a cool ride-on all-terrain robot dog, which has changed everything. You're going to love that. And at the end of the show, you might remember, if you're a Canarian for the past few years, a Red Book entry about Antarctica being the location for the start of World War III. Well, turns out everybody agrees with us. Russia might blow up Antarctica. Thank you to Business Today. We'll be diving into that. But first, Gons, let's thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We're on the value for value model, which means we take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels. If you get any value from what we do here, you are encouraged, perhaps it's even all of our responsibility, to be an acting force in what media survives, what media falls away, and not let corporations, commies, or cartels decide what message is being out there. The value for value model is a strong fist in the fight for independent media and the decentralization of the information sphere, which we know the man doesn't like. So that's a good enough reason to produce anyways. You can become a producer with your time, your talent, or your treasure, whatever works for you. It's like a buffet of supporting the show. Become a part of the family. Look back upon 2024 and think of all the current events, the hullabaloo, the hurricanes, the drones, whatever is going on, the election. Goodness gracious, almost forgot about the election. And if CCNT brought any value to your life whatsoever, you can become a producer by going to canarycry.support. Now, the executive producers, of course, thank you to all of our monthly producers who come in and say, you know what, I'm committed to keeping this show going. I get value. I'm going to sign up for something like the Supply Drop, canarycrysupply.com, Canarycry T-shirt council.com, or whatever. What you put the value on it. Nobody else can put the value on it. Only you can. And so, pickers, choosers is a phrase that I just made up. But executive producers are people who come in for $100 or more for any individual episode. And that's why we're going to thank them right here. These are the people you should be thanking and thanking God for, of course, as well. Are you ready, Gons?
Ready.
Well, it's a very nice day. It seems like maybe we had the second wave, perhaps, of enthusiastic executive producers. We're very grateful for them. We're going to start out with Sir Jamie, not the Lannister, coming in.
Where'd you find this?
Oops, sorry. Just got so excited.
Next up,
steamrolled.
Got Sir Marty K, Night of the Wrong Timeline.
Hey.
Where'd you find this?
Executive producer Sir Marty K coming in for 12321, 123 and 21 cents. That's fun.
Like a numerical palindrome.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
There you go.
Let me
Good
just
stuff.
pop over here. See, okay, we got a note from Sir Marty here that says moving day and Ozempic. Whoa, somebody else is having a moving day. Hello, fellas and my fellow Canarians. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and enjoyed it with your families and loved ones. I am moving from Gomorrah, Copenhagen, next month to the magical and mystical Danish peninsula of Jutland, also known as the Danish Hillbilly Land. Hey, that sounds cool. I guess an American or a Frenchman would call it running away, lol. But us in the rest of the world just call it regrouping. Sir Ike, my Marty McFly, I will send you my new address when the regrouping is finished, of course. That's good. You got to let Sir Ike know if you're changing address, folks. This is very important. Oh, yeah. Remember when I warned you about Ozempic coming to your country. Now is the time to really look into that wacky drug and what the possible future potential and capabilities for it is. Happy New Year's to everyone. Yours truly, Marty K. Thank you.
Thank you,
Executive
Marty K.
producer, Sir Marty K. Yeah, interesting story. I didn't bring it to the show, but I'll say it right now. Food brands have started putting a label on their food. It's the GLP-1 approved or something, GLP-1 friendly. So, you have your GMO-free label, you have your gluten-free label, and this is GLP-1 friendly, which just means if you're on Ozempic, you can eat this food, which is all food. But it's this brilliant marketing device, considering how many people are on Ozempic. You start putting like, hey, Ozempic people, eat this.
So it's like a marketing thing. It's just
it's more of a marketing thing, because what does GLP-1 friendly mean? It means nothing. It just means eat this. Eat this if you're on Ozempic. It's kind of like
I had a good
Sorry.
friend who sent me a picture that definitely what was on that, and like a year comparison photo, and it's like,
Oh, the
night and day.
Ozempic.
It's crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, did they have
you guys
Ozempic
okay?
face? Did they?
They
have
were like,
the-
yeah, they were super skinny.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a thing. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how quickly that stuff took over. And of course,
Yeah, it's wild.
yeah, lots to look in there, folks. Look, I get it. I lost 60 pounds last year. Feel great, look great. Didn't
Without
use
Ozempic, right?
Without
just,
Ozempic.
just horse tranquilizer. That's your,
Yeah.
your secret.
Just ketamine. No, horse electrolytes. is
Oh
what
yeah,
you
yeah,
mean.
close
Yes,
enough,
yes.
close enough. Sure.
Yeah, so I understand, people battling their weight. That's a lifelong thing that's like really tied up in a lot of stuff. It can
A
be
lot of things, yeah.
social issues, it could be shame, it could be family stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff wrapped up in that. So I really feel for and have been that person in that situation, still am sometimes. And it is truly diabolical. The Ozempic, Wegovy, whatever the other ones are. It's not just preying on people who want to lose weight, but because it's so psychologically, emotionally, and like spiritually attached to so many things, like it's really diabolical. I mean, even like the sin of gluttony, that there could be like this weird spiritual stuff attached to it. Anyways, and you dig into it yourself. There's a lot of people doing it. It's most of the weight you're losing is just dissolving your joints and your bones and your muscles and stuff like that. And they're approving this for children, by the way.
I know.
Children
it's
age
wild.
12, I believe. If it hasn't already been approved, they are trying to approve Ozempic and Ozempic-like medications as the first order of care for obese children of 12 years age. That's the first
let's,
thing.
Let's
they're gonna
not
try
do
to
exercise, better diet, better lifestyle. Let's just go
Nothing.
straight to the drugs.
Straight to
there.
the
That's-
Ozempic. It's horrible. And of course, it's as the big pharma is so good at doing, it's something you have to take for the rest of your life. The second you go off it, you're back to normal. It's horrible. All right.
I mean, all right, man.
Yeah,
Let's not get into it here
I know.
because it's a whole rabbit trail. It's a whole
tangent,
episode.
but it's worth mentioning just in case. I have a hard time believing this is possible, but just in case somebody didn't know those things about it.
Yep.
So go get your GLP-1 friendly TV dinners at the grocery store.
We got Chat GPT, and then we eat GPL1,
There should
whatever
be-
it's called.
Yeah, Chat GPT friendly TV dinners.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got executive producer Gary H.
Gary H.
Where'd you find this?
Good to hear from Gary H.
Thank you very much, Gary H. Good to see you, buddy, and thank you for the nice round number there. Just in case you haven't heard, if you produce the show in the amount of a nice round number on the 5 or on the 10, something like that, we do not disclose that amount. That is you communicating to us that you'd prefer we do not disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, have some fun with the number. Like Sir Marty K, 12321, 33 cents, 77, something like that. That's you saying, yeah, go ahead, share. So thank you very much, executive producer Gary H.
Yep, appreciate you.
Next up, big day, we have executive producer The Sentinel.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you,
He
Sentinel.
came in, yes, with his The Sentinel Christmas bonus executive producer challenge for the $200, and he comes in and he says, "This qualifies me for knighthood. I will send an email with accounting and my knight name after Christmas. I'm very glad you got your Christmas bonus. We will be doing more challenges in the future if that's what it takes to get the producers producing." Thank you so much, The Sentinel. What
Yeah,
a
thank you,
special
Sentinel.
individual. And yeah, I'm sure that people were planning to executive produce for the Christmas season, but certainly we know for a fact that The Sentinel started a snowball effect that really kind of dug us out of the dumps, Gon. So we're very grateful
Absolutely.
to The Sentinel.
Yep. Sentinel deserves all the accolades at the round table there.
Yeah. And of course, thank you to Sir Jamie and Sir Egorius who jumped on that as well and helps make it happen. Next up, we got executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2, Baron of the Brian Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
coming in for $100 and 33 cents. Thank you very much. He's on a 300. My bad. He's on a 357 episode producer streak, and just hit his 10 episode executive producer streak again. God bless you, executive producer Sir Alex Protocol Baron.
Thank you, sir. Alex Protocol.
Next up, we have executive producer, last but not least, executive producer Mark G coming in.
Where'd you find this?
Mark G, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Executive producer Mark G came in with a very generous executive producership. Really appreciate your participation in the program here. Couldn't do without you, Mark G.
Yep.
I didn't see a note. I was like searching around. I was like, who is this Mark G fella? I was like looking around if we had, been in contact with him before. I couldn't find much.
Well, we appreciate Mark G.
Oh, we love you, Mark G. Thank you. Next up, last but not least, we've got the one, the only executive producer, Felicia D.
Hey.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Felicia D.
Thank you. That concludes the list of executive producers for today's episode 803. Thank you so much. And folks, we're doing it. It's New Year. Let's go. Think back on 2024. Where would the world be without the show and its producers? I don't even know. It'd probably be way worse off. Why not? Probably. So thank you to every producer, executive, monthly, art producer, talent producer, and people coming in helping us out with their time. Every single one of you have bear some responsibility for the existence of this show this year, and we're very grateful for you. Go to canarycry.support to learn more.
Oh no, I got the big yellow symbol that says cannot play the jingle.
Will not play the jingle.
That is interesting. Here, I gotta go over here.
Canarycry.support.
Got a few of those handy.
Yeah. Sorry, we got to start the show, but just one big shout out to everybody who joined the text message alert system over Christmas. We got a huge bump in people joining it. It's fun. It's awesome. For those who don't know, you're gonna lose touch with the show eventually. The algorithms bury us. They stop sending you notifications. They will unsubscribe you. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. This happens everywhere. But a great way to stay connected is to text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. One more again, that's Canary to 877-740-3226. You get put on a list. I personally send out a text message before every show just to let you know we're going live. And the fun part is you can text us back at that number. Now, don't ask questions and expect them to get answered because we can't carry on a conversation with you. It's very expensive for us to do that. But we see your messages. We read your messages. We read a bunch before the show and the pre-show, and sometimes we'll read some right here. This one, I think, seems pertinent. This is from 360. He says, yay, I need a little Canary pick-me-up. The caffeine ain't doing it today. Thank you. Also, when are we just going to rally the troops and start a Christian Canary commune? Time to move to the woods yet. El Salvador? El Salvador would be a good option. America has a very special history with Christian communes. And I mean, you could talk about Ruby Ridge, you could talk about Wake, all sorts of things like this. So we probably won't be doing that anytime soon. But if society collapses and the robots take over and, some events prophesied in Revelation start going, we might not have a choice. And so,
I've mentioned it before, but I'm married into the family that was part of the establishment of Zion, Illinois.
I did not know
which was
that.
a Christian utopian community. Didn't really work out in the end, but it's an interesting history.
It rarely does it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, anywho, there you go. If you want to join the commune when the time comes, a great way to
pull the trigger on the commune.
a great way to stay in touch with that is to text the word canary to 877-740-3226.
I hope it's when we all have robots that we ride like horses, so we can all just jump on, get the family on the trailer. It may be
sooner than you think, guys.
I know.
It's coming right down the pipe. All right, let's get into the stories.
Birds, 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 birds! Pandemic! Bird flu! Bird flu!
I'm definitely going to get the bird flu.
The results show I'm positive for bird flu.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's all the talk. It's all the talk on December 30th of 2024. We take it personal. Our show is called Canary Cry News Talk, Canary Cry Radio. It's a bird theme.
Which means anytime we're not paranoid, you're paranoid.
Anytime
you're paranoid. The media or anybody mentions anything about birds, it's a direct message from the CIA.
Yes. And
you're not paranoid if it's true.
Right. And then we also have the birds aren't real psyop.
Every bird alive is a government surveillance drone.
So if that's true, then the bird flu is a serious government psyop project there, because birds aren't real, and then they give out diseases.
As we found out, the birds aren't real guys are the ones who started the Enron cryptocurrency.
That's right.
Gaff that's going on, or gag, I suppose. So
is it working? Are they raising money?
I have no idea.
Somebody's got to get
I'm sure they're doing
that.
great. Yeah.
Some boomer is like, let's do it. Let's fire up Enron. It'll be funny. It's the joke.
Again, it is a perfect thing at the perfect time, especially for Gen Z. I mean, the Gen Zers, they're bonkers about Enron. They love this stuff. That's
okay. Here we go.
I'm just gonna start making stuff up about Gen Z.
Yeah, I think you should. That's the way to go. Are you technically Gen Z?
No,
millennial.
Not even close. Yeah.
Oh, Gen Z's after 2000. Huh? Okay,
they're gaga. They're gaga about Enron.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is ABC News. Bird flu impacting California's egg supply. Now, this is a double whammy, as I am in California. Let's hear a little bit about
Well,
this.
if you're having trouble finding eggs at the grocery store, you are not alone. The bird flu has hit California hard, with migrating wild birds impacting chickens all over our state. Additionally, California's Proposition 12 prohibits eggs being imported from other states unless they comply with California's standards. That just went into effect this year. Also, with standards in place, when a chicken gets infected with the bird flu, it impacts the whole flock.
Some of the biggest impacts that, you'll honestly see any time of the year when it comes to disease is loss in production. That's the biggest thing, is because when one bird ends up testing positive, you have to put down the whole barn.
Another reason for the shortage is the time of year. During the winter season, chickens lay fewer eggs because there's less sunlight. One place you might have some luck finding eggs are at local farmers markets.
Hey, go to your local
farmers
What is up with that guy's voice? What is he doing?
What was up with
It's almost like a
really in character.
Yeah. It's like a cartoon, like AI version of a newsreader voice. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was interesting. But there you go. Apparently, I'm going to have egg shortages out here in California. Basil, I need you to figure out a way to get eggs to me.
I got you.
I know some other people. Now, here's what concerns me is this Proposition 12, whatever that new law is, that the eggs have to comply with some state standard. Are we going to have to airdrop some eggs to me with a drone?
Is it new? I didn't get the impression that he was saying it was a new thing.
No, that thing isn't new, but...
A law that says, you can't bring food into the state unless it complies with state laws about food, doesn't sound that crazy. It sounds pretty reasonable. But it's like, how does an egg not it's an egg. It's just an egg that's laid by a chicken.
You shake each egg. You got to put it under the x-ray, look at each one, make sure it's all goop in there.
Yeah, what's the manufacturing differences between eggs? I don't know.
They have to genetically test them? Are they to make sure it's bird flu free? What are you talking? I would like to look into
I'm sure
this.
that could possibly be it. Somebody said that eggs were up to $10 now, which I believe. I don't know where or what kind of eggs, but yeah,
I've been talking about this idea of distributism, in the last couple years. It's just an idea, but now it's starting to look like we're going to need to implement some distributist principles if we're going to survive this. And, a commune is one thing, but an ability to, I don't know, share resources in a more free way might be something to.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people fighting that fight in regards to raw milk and, a small batch beef farmers, stuff like that. And the trick that I have mentioned before is, if you're just like a small farmer or whatever, you got chickens, you want to share your extra eggs or something, or sell them even. The way people are getting around a lot of it is you put "not fit for human consumption" on the package, because you can sell that stuff as pet food. So of course you would never sell it to a human who's intending on eating it. But if it's
my
for
pet
dogs,
child likes these eggs, they shall eat them, and maybe
raw
I'll
milk
have some
is
too.
for filthy animals.
Yeah.
There was talk, and I'm just doing a quick check because
Go ahead.
Well, okay. I was looking at the Constitution in regards to chickens, and chickens and the Fourth Amendment comes up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think it just means nobody can come take your chickens. Like, isn't the Fourth Amendment like no right to quarter? Like, British soldiers can't come sleep in your bed. British soldiers can't come take your chickens. Anyways, okay, let's keep moving on.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another, just to keep us up to date. NPR bird flu Q&A. What to know to help protect yourself and your pets. Nothing about cattle or chicken, but, maybe that's considered your pets too. It says here, avian flu is a grip on dairy herds in California. A few people have fallen seriously ill in North America, and researchers have found that a single mutation can give the virus a better foothold in a person's upper airways. At the same time, those who are tracking avian influenza's footsteps say most of us don't need to be preoccupied with the virus as we go about our day. At least for now.
At least for now.
We're on alert, says Benjamin Anderson. It's Agent Anderson.
Thank you, Agent Anderson. They're really ramping it up. I mean, all the I didn't bring it because it's kind of played, but
it's everywhere.
There's
it's
a
its
lot
own
of
plague. This story is its own plague, and the handling of it is its own thing too.
Well, the talk about a pig can get the human flu and the bird flu, and then the viruses, they'll kiss in the pig's body and they'll have a baby, and that flu can infect humans, because as of now, the virus in a cow can't infect a human. These are just what they're saying. But pigs, they're the real danger, because a pig can catch the human flu and the bird flu. And then when two viruses love each other very, very much, they can have a little baby, and that would be
Nephilim virus.
Which I think there's an interesting connection with pigs specifically, because as we know, some crazy number, like 80% or something, of
the genetics
American pig production is Chinese companies growing pigs in the U.S. and shipping them all to China.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting vector of like, hey, COVID came from China, and now bird flu can come from American pigs, and we can just blame each other and start World War III.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't touch bird poop. Good advice coming from NPR.org.
Yeah. And the mainstream, it's so wacky listening to. Lena Wen is back on the campaign. You remember Lena Wen?
I saw her. Yeah.
Lena Wen, one of the most sort of egregious COVID communicators.
Personalities, alleged doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor on mainstream TV.
Who eventually kind of lost favor in the mainstream, because she came out and said, we didn't count very well. We counted COVID deaths wrong.
She had her moment.
Should be up to a third of that. Yeah, it looked like a second where she was going to kind of try to get back on track. But here she is, bird flu season, talking about just all the same stuff.
Same
talking
stuff,
lockdowns, talking this, talking that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
too bad. But yeah, all of this seems to be, first off, obviously an attack on food in general. You know, they don't like the fake meat type stuff. Then we'll just take your meat. You know, but then also starting with COVID, but also with any disease, any virus. Ultimately, the great goal of the principalities and powers, if we're talking about a counterfeit ledger of life, they want to be able to surveil everything, like surveil every molecule, like every little bit of everything. And, you know, a disease that's loose everywhere, farms, food, whatever, is a great way to, you know, move towards that goal.
This is where I think maybe the main play. I do not believe that bird flu is like, I don't think they're going to try to pull
itself.
a COVID. I don't think the threat is, you know, even when they tell you the numbers, they'll say all this scary stuff. It's like, I don't know, 60 people in total have gotten the bird flu, and they're usually cow ranchers or something who've been, you know, swimming around doing whatever.
And this is Alex Jones is going off on it, you know?
Oh yeah, well of course he is. Of course he needs. The end of the world needs to be every day for Alex Jones, or the business model doesn't work.
That's true.
Now, I'm not saying that our business model doesn't have some sort of I don't know, maybe not business model. Our broadcast schedule requires something to happen at least twice a week. That's that. But for every day, it's everyday apocalypse over there at Alex Jones. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. The bird flu, not panic. I'll put not in parentheses. So bird flu, not panic, but you know, because they're kind of like, hey, it's coming, it's gonna mutate, you're gonna do lockdowns, gonna do this. There's a lot of it's obviously a media creation, and then the question is why. Well, there's a lot of talk about, you know, desensitizing to another pandemic. There's a lot of talk about like you said, breaking down the sort of food issue, restricting people from getting their own food through dairy cows and chickens and stuff like that. But I think it has something to do with RFK, with Robert F. Kennedy, because there's a lot of talk, like you said, about we got to track, we got to trace, we got to test. We're not testing. We got to test, we got to track. That's the one thing, blah, blah, blah. And oh no, Robert F. Kennedy is nominated to be the head of the NHS, or whichever. I think it's NHS. Just the main health, the main, not NHS.
NIH?
NIH, yes.
Yeah, National Institute of Health, yeah.
Or something, or Health and Human Services, I think is what it is.
HHS,
the director of HHS.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not confirmed yet, and all this is going to be coming up here in the next couple months. It kind of feels like a little bit of a, well, he's a crazy person. He doesn't believe, he wants to take away your vaccines. He's not going to be able to guide us through a pandemic. We'll be at the whim of a crazy person who kills bears and whatever.
Lifts weights.
Yeah. So it almost feels like there's a little bit of this manufactured panic to create the conditions to make it harder for RFK to get confirmed because of his, I don't know, past sins of various kinds, but including during COVID.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
you know,
sense. It's always political.
You got to think it in the terms of power. It all has to be thought of in terms of power. It's not in the media unless it is having some sort of effect on some sort of power structure. And I think that might be playing a big role in it.
Yeah. Alex Jones, global emergency. COVID criminals are attempting to launch a new planetary lockdown using the lab-created gain-of-function H5N1 bird flu. Only massive exposure and non-violent action by the public can stop these mad scientists, supervillains dead in their tracks. You know what? He's kind of gamifying. He's gamifying the public to participate in this rebellion, this uprising.
He's an activist.
And it works, man. It works.
He's an activist.
But doesn't that read like a mission in the metaverse?
It's like a video game.
Totally.
Description.
Yeah. You got to raise up. You got to do something. You got to fight the mad scientist supervillains.
Planetary
they're going to take over.
Planetary lockdown.
Planetary
That's
lockdown.
cool. I got to start using that. All right. Well, don't worry. Bird flu is not going to get you.
Is it? Are you sure?
I'm
I feel
pretty
like,
sure.
I feel like we're going to get it. We're just all going to get it.
Well, it's funny because this is not the first time bird flu panic
No,
has
it was
popped
like the
up
old
COVID.
card.
Yeah, and bird flu stuff was happening like back when I was in college. This is which will have an interesting. Well, we're gonna visit the 2024 bingo card that Dame Miss G Beauty later on, and all these things are gonna come together.
Right.
But then there was monkeypox. Then there was this. There's several of these going on, and every single one that happens, it's a moment for alternative media to go, oh, they're doing COVID again. Oh, they're doing lockdown.
Right. It's the reaction. It's the most expected or predictable reaction from the public, which is they're doing it again. They're doing it again. So that makes me think they're probably not, but they're doing this for another reason. Yeah.
Well, they can play alt media like a fiddle now.
Right. Exactly.
This we know. Again, nothing against any individual thing, but we've always noted the dance, the divine dance between mainstream media and alternative media, the co-opting that we'd been tracking for a couple years now. And
the symbiosis.
The symbiosis, they need each other. Yeah. And the powers that be can play alt media like a fiddle. And not to say that every single word coming out of alt media's mouth is like directly from the CIA or something, but it's all very predictable. And this is a good opportunity for all of us to examine the way we react to a lot of these alt media conflagrations in order to try our best to not let the puppet masters just control us with new strings, alternative, edgy strings.
Yeah. They're really good at herding everybody. It's like the whole saying about you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Well, they're good at herding all of them, all the people to a specific trough or something. But not everybody has to participate in, drinking that water. I don't know if that.
I think there's a lot to be revealed. I think there's a lot that you can discern from the way that major alt media responds to stories.
Right.
And again, you kind of see this with a lot of things, including the H-1B thing we'll be talking about, or HB1, whatever the visas.
Visa thing.
Yeah. It's almost. I don't want to be mean, but it can be kind of embarrassing how predictable the alt space can be.
Did you hear that? Look at that. He's just throwing normies under the bus. That could be a family member. That could,
I'm hoping. Well, I'm hoping if any family members of me or Gons or anybody, finds themselves getting worked up about the honestly sort of perfectly crafted tweet by Alex Jones about planetary lockdown. It's not a good way to start your day, waking up and reading that the first
last Monday of the year. Global lockdowns. Like, oh man, he's been saying that for 15 years. He hasn't been wrong. It's just, it never ends. But hopefully it might, maybe with quantum computers. You want to talk about that for a second?
Why not?
Wow. ScienceAlert.com. Quantum teleportation achieved over internet for first time.
Teleportation over internet.
Yes. Cool. Which, at first I was like, wait, what does that? I mean, I thought teleportation means that there is no medium, but also, just as a side note, we have all these jingles to all these stories. The jingles are like a bat signal to show that, hey, we have been looking at this topic. It's got its own file in the Canarium, of years of looking at certain things. Bird flu being one of them, quantum computers being another. So, in case anyone's new and they hear these jingles and you think it's just random or something like that, they're sort of like little labels for our file cabinet over here.
Callbacks.
Yeah, callbacks. So it says here,
NLP triggers.
NLP triggers, yeah. People, it works though. It is a true thing. A quantum state of light. You got that, Basil? A quantum state of light has been successfully teleported through more than 30 kilometers, it's about 18 miles, of fiber optic cable amid a torrent of internet traffic, a feat of engineering once considered impossible. The impressive demonstration by researchers in the U.S. may not help you beam to work to beat the morning traffic or download your favorite cat videos faster yet. However, the ability to teleport quantum states through existing infrastructure represents a monumental step towards achieving a quantum-connected computing network, enhanced encryption, or powerful new methods of sensing. Sensing. Oh, you mean surveillance.
Detection.
Quote,
Yeah.
Yep. This is incredibly exciting because nobody thought it was possible, says Prem Kumar, a Northwestern University computing engineer who led the study. It's kind of an interesting side note to that as well. The individual, the name, I'm assuming some things, but, whatever it may be. Quote, our work shows a path towards next generation quantum and classical networks sharing a unified fiber optic infrastructure. Basically, it opens the door to pushing quantum communications to the next level. So I'm going to get into some details of what they did. I have a couple things highlighted. It might get a little technical, but I think people can follow here. Like fairy floss in a spring shower, the quantum state of any object is a hazy smear of possibility at risk of melting into reality moments after creation. Electromagnetic waves of radiation and the thermal bumping and grinding of moving particles quickly reduces the quantum significance into decoherence if it isn't protected in some way. It's talking about the photons and stuff, right? They form for a moment, but it's been the goal of CERN and physicists to try to contain that state and hold it somehow. Mm-hmm. And they've been working on that with shielding quantum states inside computers, and that's what they were able to pull off here. Quote, we carefully studied how light is scattered and placed our photons at a judicial point where the scattering mechanism is minimized, says Kumar. We found we can perform quantum communication without interference from the classical channels that are simultaneously present. While other research groups have successfully transmitted quantum information alongside classical data streams in simulations of the internet, Kumar's team is the first to teleport a quantum state alongside an actual internet stream. Each test further suggests the quantum internet is inevitable, giving computing engineers a whole new toolkit for measuring, monitoring, encrypting, and calculating our world like never before without needing to reinvent the internet to do it. Quote, quantum teleportation has the ability to provide quantum connectivity securely between geographical distant nodes. And I don't think it was too technical, Basil, but it's one of those things where, once again, science, the traditional forms of materialism has sort of failed. They're going into these woo-woo areas, quantum states, and the smallest little particles and photons, and experimenting through fiber optics, all leading towards quantum teleportation. Obviously, this is not beaming up Scotty, as the article said, but I could see how this type of technology, as it continues to evolve and perhaps be implemented in certain, I would say, strata of society. Maybe not everyone, obviously, probably not everyone, but a segment of the population that are allowed to access this technology. Perhaps this type of technology already exists or had existed in the ancient past. It's kind of my thinking on some of this stuff. But, there's a passage from Daniel 7. We reference it often. It talks about how in the future days or the end times, people will go to and fro and knowledge will increase. And in the last 40, 50 years, a lot of preachers, pastors, and commentators, biblical commentators on eschatology have taken that passage and said, hey, look, they're in airplanes now. We can travel anywhere in the world on airplanes with the knowledge that has increased in the last century. And I think that is accurate. Like, yeah, for sure, we have created the ability for all of us to move anywhere on the earth, regardless of whatever shape you might think it is, on airplanes. So yes, that is true. But perhaps looking forward, even more, people going to and fro, knowledge will increase, is this state where certain people in parts of society are able to, I don't know, quote unquote, operate these quantum teleportation technologies to travel around the world. And can you imagine the celebrity these people would have if this type of thing became a reality. And, you know, like the first person to actually quantum teleport, you got cameras in Paris, and then, you know, a big crowd, and then a big crowd over in New York. And, you know, Kanye or somebody is like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to quantum teleport, you know? And he walks through, I don't know why it's Kanye, but like, you know, some celebrity.
What does that mean when you're describing it? Like a person quantum teleporting? What is it?
Like
You
actually
mean like
traveling.
actually teleporting?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And who knows if it's real or not. I don't know if it's going to be like actually legit, but in terms of the technology, the ability to do it, in theory, it's becoming more and more proven that this type of thing is possible. At least, you know, isolating photons, having quantum teleportation, as they call it.
Yeah, that's not what they're claiming, though, right? Just so I understand the story. They're
no,
not.
They're
claiming
no,
to be
no,
able
no.
to
They're not
have
saying that that's
teleported
possible. No.
Matter. Okay.
No. It's a photon that they basically teleported.
Love 'em.
Yeah,
Love those little guys.
a photon that traveled through a fiber optic cable without getting its state changed, which is in the world of physics is a big deal because of the, you know, it's hard to keep that photon state in place.
Yeah, you don't really have control over it. Like,
Right,
even,
right. And
you know, you go back to the double slit experiment, stuff like
Yeah.
this. For those who are familiar, yeah, it's even electrons. It's impossible to know even where an electron is at any one moment. Which, you know, kind of expresses the weirdness that happens at those levels. And then double slit experiment, yes, is light a wave? Is it a particle? Well, we don't actually know because it's both.
Right. And apart from the technology talk and the speculations about the future and things of that nature, it won't matter because, of course, we had that Google story last episode with Willow and how they're saying, oh, they must have accessed the parallel dimension to get the information for the calculations and whatnot. This is a race. This is a geopolitical race because Russia, we're going to see Russia a couple times today. So, you know, just get used to Putin there. Russia unveils its 50-qubit rubidium neutral atom prototype quantum computer.
Yay.
Putin's got his QC. Maybe he'll be the first one to teleport. But yeah, the geopolitical race is something to pay attention to. Just a brief here. Russia unveiled its first 50-qubit quantum computer prototype using neutral rubidium atoms in December, developed by Lomonosov Moscow State University and the Russian Quantum Center under its quantum computing roadmap. The prototype, part of a $790 million government-backed initiative, represents progress towards scaling quantum systems through key performance metrics, and independent validation remain undisclosed. So, yeah, apart from all the other stuff, it's interesting now because the race for digital immutability, for cyber, all these things are being ramped up with this quantum side, which is a hardware upgrade. It's not the technology upgrade side. It's more of the hardware side. That taps into, you know, who knows what, the very cold temperatures and whatnot. But we've kept track of it, and the stories just keep getting weirder. But I can see the geopolitical angle being a catalyst to push forward. We can't lose. We can't lose, Basil. Can't lose to Russia with the quantum computers. Putin's going to hack everybody. So we got to make sure we beat them, and that's a good excuse to push forward the quantum computing infrastructure as quickly as possible. And I am curious to see how the rollout goes, because some people in government, as I documented in Age of Deceit 4, are suggesting that there is a Q day coming up as early as 2030, where a certain level of quantum computing will be achieved that can crack all current encryption, which is the SHA-based system, and that'll be the end of current internet. Well, I think what this last study is also suggesting is that perhaps there is a more of a progression where it's not just, we don't have 5G internet, from the 52 or 56K modem. There's a progress towards that or something. I don't know, but keep track of it.
It's important geopolitically because, as we
course
mentioned before, and just in case there's somebody new, whoever gets the first quantum computer can basically end the world instantly, and
they will be the cyber
building,
pandemic.
leave every building standing, have all the money that in the world to be accessed, and by the narrative that's been communicated in the media regarding some other recent quantum computing things. Basically, if they want the password to the bank vault, the online bank vault, if they want to hack, any account, any password in the world using a quantum computer, they just basically tap into infinite other dimensions or universes, and each one of those infinite universes just takes a random stab at what the password might be. And it's kind of this brute force thing, but when it's happening in innumerable other universes, they can crack any password pretty much instantly.
Yep. And there's been a lot of, if you go down the rabbit trail of quantum and genetics, quantum and blockchains, which I tried to document some of that in Age of Deceit 4. Again, the idea of creating immutable digital assets in this world become very it's next level when you talk about quantum, because if quantum is this thing, quantum computing is a thing where you can pull out anything from the infinite possibilities of the ether or whatever, the other dimensions, then blockchains will be able to capture that and create it in in an immutable state, even though it's digital in our realm. So it really does tap into this Tower of Babel concept of anything you imagined is possible.
So speaking of new technology completely dissolving the separation between real and fiction, or death or life, or the space between
first heaven
dimensions.
with second heaven,
dissolving the sort of
Any
illusion
barriers.
of material reality. Let's talk about social media for a second. AI,
artificial intelligence.
And Mark Zuckerberg, is that?
Yeah.
Who should we tickle next?
I am not a lizard.
Yeah, this was very interesting. Now, this is going to be coming from Financial Times here, which
I got a paywall over here.
Many people have reason to believe is connected inextricably with
intelligence
the
operations?
intelligence apparatus.
Mhm.
Yeah, what the heck? I had this pulled up. It was totally fine, and it is putting a paywall on it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Gotta hack the mainframe here.
I
Beep, bop,
know.
boop. Let me go over here. Beep, bop, boop.
See if there's a
Are you
way
still
here to do
firewalled
this.
from hacking the mainframe?
No, I think I got it to work here, but there's a couple different things. It looks like some of these mirrored outlets have it here.
If only we had a quantum computer, we could get right past this paywall. That's mean. We
I
had
got
this
this
up
text
earlier.
spot. I think it's just a mirror here.
Okay. Well, I'm already pulling up the archive.
Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully it's the same.
Come on. Pull up, baby. Let's go.
Oops. Oh, no. Pressing too many buttons on the screen.
Nuts. Oh, what have they done to me? Come on. It is being mirrored everywhere. So if you get a mirror, let me know.
Yeah, I'm
let's see.
hyperlinking some letters in the document.
Okay, thank you. This is so annoying. Here it is. All right. Hopefully this is a mirror. It's on techspot.com. Meta wants to fill its social platforms with AI-generated bots. Okay, it's not going to be a mirror, but let's see what they have to say. Meta owns some of the most popular social networks on the planet. Can you actually, would you be able to try to actually track down a mirror, whether it's the archive or not? I think MSN had it mirrored. Maybe you can do that. Yeah, let me get into this
I'll
one.
look for it.
I had it pulled up. I should have just used that one. I wanted to use the original source, and that's
Yeah,
what
you
you get for trying to use the original source. Meta owns some of the most popular social networks on the planet, collectively used by billions of people. However, the future could see a shift towards bots and AI-generated characters designed to drive engagement and keep increasingly automated platforms afloat. So in the past, when bots were considered a negative thing, They're renaming them AI-generated characters and injecting them into social media, which, of course, this is already happening on a sort of individual level. Lots of people are trying to, make money with it. Others are trying to boost their own engagement. But this is different. Meta is actively working to transform its social media platforms into spaces where AI bots interact with each other. Over the next few years, the company formerly known as Facebook aims to integrate AI technology to boost, quote, engagement with its 3 billion real human users. This could either be a revolution or just another disastrously misguided idea like the previously dismissed metaverse VR ecosystem. This is funny. Yeah, this one, that's why I liked the Financial Times article, because it was all pro. It was like, this is awesome. This is what the world needs. There's nothing to see here. This is going to change your life. Meta is currently developing several AI products, including a service designed to help users create AI bots on Instagram and Facebook. We're just moving into an era where the social media platforms are encouraging you to create bots. These bots could clone users' personalities and interact with other non-bot users on the network. The company hopes to attract younger audiences who are apparently going crazy over AI these days. Connor Hayes, Meta's vice president of product for generative AI, told the Financial Times that the company expects these AI bots to eventually exist on its platform just like user accounts do today. The bots will have fake biographies and profile pictures, sharing new, quote, content generated by AI models. Integrating generative AI into Facebook, Instagram, and other networks is now a priority, Hayes stated. Meta's apps need to become more entertaining and engaging.
More entertaining?
Isn't that the craziest justification?
They have the attention of 3 billion people every day, and they're like, we need more.
Yeah. How on earth could you make social media more? When they say entertaining and engaging, what they really mean is addicted. They don't, entertaining and engaging to a social media network, that means addiction. And the only way they can get people more addicted and more people addicted is by filling it on purpose with bots, and not just for like views and stuff. I mean, this is going to destroy the idea of advertising on social media if you know for a fact there's a ton of bots just roaming around. Now, perhaps maybe ads won't be shown to bots or something. You can find ways around that. But I almost take this as a good sign. And the good sign is, again, I look to my younger counterparts, Gen Z, who are, millennials, the hipsters. We had our bouts of, going off grid, getting off social media, getting a flip phone, stuff like that. But that trend, and I hesitate to even call it a trend, it's more like a philosophy. It's more of a way to find more fulfillment in life and not be captured by the prison that is, the digital world. Gen Z is much better at this than millennials are now. Now, to be fair, millennials are the ones who are all living on homesteads and going off the grid, so good for you. But the next generation, like you mentioned at the top of the show, Generation Beta, the whole idea of social media is not primarily going to be, oh, let me go on this website and talk to my friends. It's, let me go on this website and let millions of bot accounts entertain me. It is the only possible way that you could suck more actual relevance out of social media. At least if you go on there now, it's a person saying something stupid. It's a real human choosing to post something who has bad takes or perhaps even good takes. But they're actively trying to transform social media into a thing you go on explicitly to be entertained by robots, which is a full-scale apocalypse of what social media in the first place ever meant to be. I mean, this will turn, you think about what America was supposed to be versus what it is now. That's a pretty traumatic gap that needs to be closed. That's basically what social media is going to be like. It's, totally unrecognizable to people like us.
We are going to be the old, annoying generation that is, when we joined Facebook, we were just connecting with other people.
Yeah, right.
And then they're going to be like, yeah, but we didn't have whatever. Zork wasn't doing backflips or something,
one. Right. Now, it's interesting to us because, again, I will very often mention like, oh, this is kind of an update because we've covered this for years or we've tracked this progress. So here's just kind of an update. I mean, we were back in 2020 following the very first AI influencers. They'd make AI influence. Oh, this is a big deal. There's that rapper, who's kind of this little bit racist, cartoonish figure.
I forget the name of the rapper too.
I know it was something like, I don't know, mechanical or something. Yeah. Anywho, so this is, apparently that went so well that Mark Zuckerberg's like, oh yeah, let's just turn social media not into an opportunity for humans to connect with one another, which is hilarious because you hear Mark Zuckerberg talk about Facebook and he's like, we're bringing people together. We're connecting families across oceans. This is good for humanity. It's the most human thing you could possibly do. And now they're just like, screw the humans. Let's make it all AI bots. It's basically a form of like television. When you go on there knowing that nothing you're going to see or a huge portion of what you're going to see not only isn't real or isn't true, because we have that now, but isn't even generated by an actual human being. And you talk about the dangers of social media now, why are they wanting to ban TikTok? Because China has a button and China can make a cultural revolution happen overnight. With the click of a button, the Communist Party can use TikTok, press a button, and make, pouring buckets of water over your head the most popular and important trend of the year. Now,
can be argued X is the same thing now with Elon.
Sure, yeah. I'm not leaving X out of this. I think probably Elon is going to push back against this idea. Now, whether he secretly does something like it, who knows, But his brand originally was to get bots off of Twitter, which, and if he stays that course, will make Twitter the most important social media thing on the planet, which it might arguably already be. So anyways, this is not just a technological shift. This is a horrifying glimpse into the world. How horrifying would it be for somebody in the 80s to know about what social media hath wrought in 2020. It's like an alien world. It's going to be the same thing, us looking at 2030, when suddenly the entire internet is inhabited almost exclusively by the numbers, by the percentages, by AI bots. And you only go on there to just see what the AI bots are doing to catch your attention, hold your attention, and sell you stuff. I mean, talk about harvesting human life force. It's horrifying. But is a great little check mark on the side of the dead internet theory people. Mm-hmm. Remember dead internet theory? We talk about it every once in a while, but this was something I got really obsessed with back in about 2013 was dead internet theory. And, I'm pretty convinced 2013 dead internet theory was not the case then. It might not even be fully the case now, although we certainly are closer. But they are outwardly bragging about wanting to create the dead internet. And why is this important? The internet, people's ability to communicate and share information is evidently, apparently, and obviously the biggest risk to power structures on the planet. Doesn't matter if you're talking globalists, doesn't matter if you're talking U.S. government, doesn't matter if you're talking, the HHS, whatever it is. The ability for regular people to communicate with millions of their peers at once is the number one threat to the very power and principality of oppressive, tyrannical regimes on the planet. The internet's like the only reason why we are not currently enslaved in a version of the dystopia, that has been prophesied before. Not to say we're not going to get there. It's the only reason we're not there now. Okay, if you're the power structure, what do you want to do? How do you get that under control? Well, you got to keep people from talking to each other. Well, that means we got to shut down social networks. Well, we're not going to do that because it's too important. It's good to have a central location where bajillions of people are addicted to putting their attention. That's a very useful tool. But if we could just tweak it a little bit, where when they go to put their attention, they're just as addicted, they're just as obsessed, they're just as reactive, but instead of actually encountering real ideas from real people that might, help them realize that, evil powers are trying to control and destroy them, no, just fill it with AI. The AI will do whatever we say. That is the ultimate version of the mass hypnosis propaganda prison that you cannot break out of. It's quite horrifying, actually. Now, I will say at the bottom of this article, real quick, so one last paragraph, critics of this AI-filled dystopia warned about the risks related to the weaponization of AI-generated content. Becky Owen, innovation officer at creative agency Billion Dollar Boy and former head of Meta's creator team, said fake AI accounts could easily be used to amplify false narratives if robust safeguards are not enforced on social media. In the Financial Times article, the one written by the CIA, they didn't call it false narratives. They called it, can you guess what they called it, Gons?
Fake news.
No, misinformation.
Oh, it's close.
They called it, but we got to be careful because we wouldn't want the AI to spread misinformation. I think this TechSpot article calling it false narratives is much more realistic because, of course,
specific
false narratives from the power structure, the mainstream false narratives, the lies told to us by our overlords on a regular basis. And the only reason we can see past these false narratives of the establishment is because of other humans being on the internet. Get rid of it. They're talking, but what if the AI does misinformation? What if the robots that are completely under our control spread No, that's not real. You're just distracting from the fact that it will turn the entire internet into a 100% control device instead of right now where it's just like 98% control device.
It is a fifth generation war.
Fifth gen warfare.
They're targeting you. They're targeting you.
Fifth gen warfare.
The war of narratives. So narrative crafting, obviously an important aspect of this. But also, everything you said there, your whole rant with the dead internet theory. I don't know. I don't know if you hang out with Sam Altman, but I feel like you're being a sneaky salesman for Worldcoin. Worldcoin.
He is a professional controlled opposition narrative guy. He's very good at it.
This was just because you brought it up. This is Reuters from just a week or so ago, December 19th. Worldcoin must delete all iris scan data, Watchdog says. And interestingly, the Watchdog is the Bavarian counterpart Bay LDA from Bavaria. Now, so Bavaria,
the Illuminati?
The Illuminati, the home of Adam Weissaup's Illuminati from the 1770s. They're the ones that are coming out and saying, hey, Sam Altman, you got to delete all that iris scan data. That belonged to us. Blah, blah. That's probably what they said.
That's very interesting.
So what if Sam Altman was the good guy? He really was trying to help mankind, but then he ran into the lizard people.
I'm sure he would love for us to believe that was the case.
But you know what I mean? He is being set up as the guy to be like, oh, you guys need human verification. Guess what?
Yep.
Stare into the orb. If you don't want bots all over your timeline, comply
You're right.
with
No,
the orb.
you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You combine Worldcoin, which I'm not going to give the whole Worldcoin spiel, but old timers,
Yeah.
Canarians,
You know.
you
Just
know
look it up. We
what
have a
we're
whole
talking
thing.
about.
Yeah.
You know, this stupid silver basketball that you look into and it records.
Careful. Stop. It's beautiful. It is a work
It is
of art,
beautiful.
Basil. It's beautiful.
It is
It
magnificent.
glows.
It records your biometric data and gives you cryptocurrency for digital identification on the internet. Mix that with Elon's, verification, the Everything app. You know, he's kind of on that march as well. Mix that with the purposeful flooding of AI bots onto social media by the companies themselves, which of course they're already doing for various reasons. But, you know, the public celebration of turning social media into social with robots, not with humans. How are you going to tell who's human or not? Oh my gosh, there's so many bots. Oh, how do you even know? We want to talk to you. Yo, well, you got to get verified. And no,
The
you don't
orb.
just
Ask the orb.
send in your You don't just send in your driver's license because, you know, AI can fake a driver's license.
Of course. AI
Easy.
can, spin one up, no problem.
You got to scan your iris. Now you're a human. We know that. Have fun on social media. It's a total nightmare. It's all coming together.
It's crazy. It's all coming together. And the communication networks is going quantum. I mean, everything's going to happen faster. These bots are going to travel to your brain quicker. They can produce the content right away. Oh, it's the end of the world, Basil.
Now, Gons, I want you to give us your theory about the Joe Biden GPT, and then I want to talk about network stakes for just a moment, because I think it is an act of God that all of this coming together this year. I mean, first of all, our whole career is following this stuff coming together. Then this year, the events of this year, with the conglomeration of the stories that we have covered so far, as well as our obscure obsession with something called network states, which is maybe the most hard to believe prediction that we are building towards in the future.
It's hard to believe if you don't know what it is, because what are you talking about? No more nation states. We're America, but we're kind of already moving into a network state.
Oh yeah. To me, on this last show of the entire year, it all came together.
I wish I had the "it all comes together" handy right there.
It
happened in my brain, but it didn't. I don't have, my fingers weren't ready. Okay, yes, my Joe Biden theory.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
He did tell us
Armageddon's on the way.
I still think one of the greatest prophet presidents of our time. So we didn't do the story. Joe Biden sending $2.5 billion to Ukraine. Once again, congratulations to Ukraine. I don't know what Zelensky's doing over there.
That's the biggest one. That's the biggest. It's like
he just keeps
like
laundering money.
10 times bigger than any other batch we've ever sent them.
We did it. We did it
doing
again.
It on New Year's Eve.
Thank you, America. All right, so because of that story, I was thinking, we're taking some notes down. And I was thinking about 2025. And I was thinking about Joe Biden. And I was like, man, Joe's old. Yeah, Joe might pass away next year. Maybe not. I don't know. Joe's the kind of guy, he just kind of keeps going for a while, But he might pass away in 2025. And if he does, and it's not just Joe, but a lot of these elderly folk and famous old people, when they pass away, and we're already starting to see stuff like this with, celebrities or people in history creating GPTs, or AI, basically, and just, for simplicity, of these individuals in history or whoever, or specifically Joe Biden, let's say. And, he will have a version of history that is his version of history, that, he wasn't corrupt. He was a good old American boy doing the best he can. Right. The whole narrative constructed around Joe Biden, that will be his story that will carry on through this AI that interacts with the world in one way or another. And it got me to thinking, okay, data commoditization has been, it's been commoditized already, but the problem is we have these big conglomerate,
new
centralized entity. Yeah, it's new oil. We have these big groups like a Facebook or, X or whoever, these technocrats controlling all that data. But as we move into the world of decentralization, at the very least, some of that will become, the data will become more commoditized. And I believe more people will want control of their data. And I was thinking about us, Basil, like you and I, we've published a bunch of content on the internet, and will at some point our family or our kin or whoever, are they going to come in and say, wait, that information, that data belongs to us. Like, this is our family, whatever, if there's a trust made or some kind of legal structure. And
yeah, I mean, you talk about digital assets being able to be inherited.
Yeah. The immutability of digital assets will allow this to take place. Yeah.
And even not immutable. I mean, this podcast is not immutable, but it is intellectual property. It is intellectual property, and it is an asset. The data is an asset.
Right. So, and I was thinking that if Joe does create an AI that has his narrative, and people disagree with that narrative, obviously people will, we know that, then it will create a level of outrage amongst the populists that are out there now, and encourage them to create their own legal, familial, genealogical bloodline AI so that they can control their data for themselves and say, hey, we don't want our data to be commoditized or sold off in a certain way. They have their choice to do that. That got you, got you really into the network state concept.
Well,
you think this is like the core of it,
and it relates also to all the court stuff going on regarding training AI, large language models. People are suing OpenAI because they took their art, and now the AI uses the art to make other art. You could do that with writing too. There's a bunch of novelists and authors who are like, we did not allow you to upload all of our work to create your AI. Now, this isn't going to stop, and AI doesn't work without training data. And for us, this includes our our podcast. Sorry, my brain's moving a little slow today. I'm sure people can hear that. That includes our podcast. It includes our art. It includes our, our intellectual property. But it also includes all our emails and all our internet activity and all of the data that they use to blah, blah, blah. So every possible piece of data on you has been taken and is being used to train AI models. And right now there's nothing we can do about it. But there is this huge movement to controlling your own data. There's a lot of big powers who are involved. There's varying interests involved. There are some who seem to be authentic and, have this libertarian idea, this liberty-minded, hey, you don't use anybody's data unless they give you consent to use it.
Right.
Now comes the topic of network states. We've been talking about network states for a very long time. This can get kind of heady, but we firmly believe that this is what reality is going to be like, perhaps for this generation beta. They will be born into this system. Right now, what a lot of people don't realize is the concept of a nation state, as we know it now, America, Germany, France, that very concept is extraordinarily new.
Yeah.
We take it for granted. And because a lot of, all of our quote unquote recent history in the past couple of years talks about nation states. The concept of a nation state with borders and, official governments in this way, it being an entity to themselves, this is extraordinarily new.
Yes, 19th and 20th century, literally the last 200 years.
Some
was really, it was way, empires before that.
Exactly, depending on like how you
define
kind of
certain
arrange the history and define some of the words. Like some people consider like the United States of America to be one of, if not the first official nation state. in the way that it was brought up. Before that, you had kingdoms, and we kind of think of kingdoms like nation states, but for reasons I'm not going to get into, they weren't. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. They didn't have the legal documents that drew lines in the ground and
a lot of things.
all those things. Yeah,
a lot of things. The nation state did not exist a few hundred years ago.
Right.
So this idea that the way humans are organized on the planet can change is highly likely. And as we've seen with the movements and the desires of just different globalists and big powers, is not only likely, but is desired. No borders, no nations.
And has occurred. It's occurred in many different ways. It hasn't completely taken over yet, but the generations.
It's happening slowly.
The generations are each getting indoctrinated into it. So,
and this no borders thing, as much as there's a pushback right now from people all over the world, I mean, they're not going to stop going for it, because this idea of a nation state, it creates war, it pits people against each other, it excludes people from traveling freely, it's blah blah blah, the whole thing. So very, very, very smart people, smarter people than Gons and I, if you could even imagine such a person, have been theorizing about something called the network state, which essentially boils down to, no matter where you are on Earth, you would be a citizen, not of a geographical nation state, but a citizen of a network. Now, we think of networks as kind of like online groups, maybe Facebook, maybe whatever. You could also think of the entity of a corporation to be a network state. There's no country of Google, but there is a country of Google. There's no geographical land you call Google, but Google is as powerful, more important, and more effective in a lot of ways. If you think about the ways, what government nation states are supposed to do, Google is maybe more effective than them, to the people who would be considered citizens of Google. So just imagine, this is slightly sort of allegorical, just to help understand, because it's very heady, scholarly stuff. Let's just say, you got your Google citizenship, you got your Facebook citizenship, you got your this, and you think, okay, I can kind of barely start to kind of understand what this is. You can be a citizen of Google, you can maybe be a citizen of multiple networks.
Yes.
We
are kind of like a network state.
A little bit, yes. We've described.
Talk about it. We did start online. There's a culture, people that feel that they're part of the community,
ideology, resources that are available to members of the network states, rules. You talk about user license agreement. We're basically already there. Any digital product that you use, you are consenting to the user license agreement, basically meaning you are putting yourself under, for lack of a better word, the constitution of that network state. When you sign up for a new product, when you sign up for whatever, you click the button, you say, I agree. That's you consenting to the constitution of that network state. Now, how do you decide citizenship? Well, it's kind of tough, because, what does citizenship mean? You're protected by that government.
PFPs, bro. What PFP are you rocking? A joke, but it's true. That's kind of the beginning of it. Yeah.
You consent to their user license agreement. One thing that is kind of, I think maybe we have yet to see fully materialize, but we might see soon, is the authority given to you as a citizen of a network state. Right now as an American, in theoretically, the system works. And Rome was very similar. Rome was the first empire to do this. But if you are a citizen of the United States, no matter where you are in the world, you are still a citizen of the United States. You go to Thailand, you are not a citizen of Thailand just because you're there. You are a citizen of America. And what does that mean? Well, it means if something happens to you, you are still held accountable to American laws, extradition, but you're also protected by the American government. If you go to jail, the American government, in theory, will come help you get out, make sure that you're not abused in jail or whatever, these types of things. This is what it means to be a citizen. In the same way, when you join a network state, it doesn't matter where you are at all. You are a citizen of Google. I wish I could think of better things. But, it doesn't matter where your geography is. You are a citizen of the network state that you choose. Now, what does the network state get out of it? And that's where the data comes in. Because if they figure out the way to make it happen technologically and legally and whatever, if you have the ability to exclude or include all of your data, I'm saying every possible little byte of data about you, you can say, no, I don't want Google to have any of it. Boom, they don't have it. You're not subject to their user license agreement at that point. You're not subject to the benefits that Google can present to you if you do not agree to the user license agreement. This is very simple, but it is sort of extraordinary in its parallels to what the world might look like very, very soon. But, in the AI, add the AI bit of this, where these network states, these quote-unquote countries, these corporations, they need what essentially amounts to taxpayers, to population, for them to exist, have power, blah, blah, continue. They need quote-unquote taxpayers. And choose which network to send your data to, basically to pay your data tax to, what network state are you going to allow your data GDP to be added towards? And of course, excuse me, a lot of talking here at the end of the world. And of course, any data you give will go into the very data set that constitutes the existence of the AI of that nation state, or sorry, network state. So you have this very practical, because we talked about this before, and it's all very kind of like, whoa, dude, that'll be crazy. Whoa, how will that? Yeah, it's very amorphous, very kind of complicated. But what simplifies it and brings it into extremely practical terms is when you have control of all your data, you can choose which nation state has access to it. You will choose, I keep saying nation state, network state. You will choose which network state you want the benefits of. You choose the network state you want to be held accountable to their user license agreement, their constitution. And essentially, it won't matter at all where you are in the world, because there's no borders. Geographical location is just sort of a term of topography at that point, just like where is your body? Well, where your body is barely matters. It barely matters right now where your body is.
Matters now.
Almost doesn't matter at all, but
Yeah,
just
true.
barely. If you're staying disconnected in meaningful ways, your physical location still has some meaningful sort of benefit or disbenefit, whatever. So you talk about this network state. Thank you. The philosophy is there. The foundation is almost there, and not just foundation technologically, but the foundation philosophically, where it might be a little bit harder to kind of imagine in this exact moment because of the pendulum swing back to nation state sort of nationalism. But the pendulum's going to swing again. It'll probably swing by 2027. We'll be back in the throes of the sort of liberal culture takeover in a couple years. And by then, they'll have a few years of AI development under the belt. They'll have a few years of quantum computing under the belt. And remember, the quantum computing is a big part of this too. And so I very realistically can see, I'll just say by 2030, the idea of your physical location not determining your citizenship or your or even just the meaningful aspects of citizenship. You know, they might not delete the idea of being an American citizen, but your choice to join a network state will have significantly higher ramifications to your daily life than a nation state sort of thing. Because you think about it, and it's funny this way in America especially, because we get all hyped up about national politics, you know, federal politics, elections. The national federal elections have the least practical change in your day-to-day life than any other version of politics. Hyper-local politics, it will have the biggest effect on your day-to-day life, but it's just not as interesting. It's, you know, there's not as much money to get you addicted to, you know, the I don't know, city council or the school board elections. You know, it's not very profitable to be interested in, so most people aren't. And so in the same, you know, they might technically still have remnants of American citizenship as a geolocated nation state, but more importantly will be your network state access, and that will be decided by who you choose to give access to of all of your data. Because, you know, even on a practical level, if a network state, let's say Spotify, if Spotify doesn't have any of your data, they have no power over you. They don't have the power to effectively advertise. They don't have power to hold you to their user license agreement. You know, you can choose a network state to have dominance over your life or be completely disconnected from. So, and, you know, like you said, you can be a member of multiple of these. You're going to
it's probably going to be contingent upon certain aspects. You know, what kind of like what insurance do you have? What, you know, you'll have your network state for health. You'll have which you can choose which health data to share with your provider or whatever. You know, it'll be a lot more, I guess, democratized. Is that the right word? Or at least
on a practical
in appearance, maybe not in reality.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like, in a way, and this is always hard to do, but in a way, you need to kind of delete the programming that, like, nation state is the highest form of power in the world. You know, what's the highest form of power? Well, it is the U.S. government. Or who has the most authority over my life? Well, it's the government to which I pledge allegiance or something. But you kind of got to delete the very idea of the nation state being the most important thing. And in practical terms, you can do that now. Right now.
I feel that you and I have already done it in a certain way, which angers a lot of people that are very pro. We're not anti-America. We're obviously pro-America because we live here and we want everyone to be happy and prosper.
I love nation states.
You know?
I'm a huge fan of nation states.
Here we go again.
I'm a huge fan. CIA put me on record. I love nation states.
You love war.
I love them.
You love war, deception. You love taking over other nation states. You're good at this game, Basil.
Literally up until like today, the idea of nation state, I'm sitting here thinking, I know, I get it. I get what they're going for. I know I can kind of like shift my programming a little bit to kind of understand the concept. But when you take a second, and what really helped me was going, wait a second, this is happening now. This nation state thing is already here. It's just in a form, they're not calling it that. And so when the time comes, I put such an early timeline on it, 2030, not because I think the societal shift, the global shift in power will be so enormous that they will say, come on TV. The newsman won't come on TV and be like, there are officially no nations anymore. You must pledge allegiance to Google.
Well, I'm sure somebody will come out and say that.
You know, like, that's kind of, I'm like waiting, like, okay, what'll that look like? But no, the power of the shift to network states is the very fact that we're literally doing it right now in sort of a proto form. In its earliest forms, we're doing it now.
the takedown of a Google or a Facebook, that might be part of a massive revolution for a rise of the next level of a network state, because it doesn't happen without revolution at a tangible level. So I can see the fall of some of these big centralized companies and being replaced by something that appears to be better or more fair or whatever it is. And we'll get into a little bit more of the conversation. The philosophical discussions about governance is taking place for various reasons that we'll get into, a little bit later here. But also that I have this little graphic up on the screen here for anybody listening. It says a network state is a highly aligned online community with a capacity for collective action that crowdfunds territory around the world. I think that's interesting.
Detail.
Yeah. Especially if you are territory to that network. You become a node in the network. And eventually gains diplomatic recognition from pre-existing states.
And that's the big thing.
That's the big one.
Diplomatic recognition, which part of this we've tracked over the years is corporate municipalities popping up in America. In Nevada, in Wyoming, in Texas, there are literally thousands of acres, plots of land that have been handed over to corporations like Google, like Facebook, where they are the government. And the plan is to build a Google city where everybody there works for Google. You are under the authority of the Google government. And it's working off of the sort of autonomous zone or the micronation kind of concept that exists in America and a few other places around the world, where you can, theoretically sort of claim sovereignty of a piece of land. And, your best hope is to not do anything your best hope is to keep paying American taxes, so the government technically doesn't care that you've gone autonomous, but that you're like this is real. You can look these up. There's like a bunch of these micronations of people claiming their independence from the United States, but they still pay their U.S. taxes as they call it foreign foreign protection, or so. Like they'll have a governmenty name for why they pay their taxes.
Right.
And corporations are allowed to do this now. As we speak, these cities are being created. So yes, the idea that a network state could, find a piece of property and sort of deploy crowdfunding to hold territory is totally not outside the realm of possibility. And also is a little bit easier to imagine because of our ideas of what citizenship are now are so very geolocated. It's all about geolocation. So it might help sort of that transition, I think.
Sure. And I think there'll be a mixture too. I think there'll be some infrastructure that allows for your local farmers, and especially if if people can get in there before the big corporations do, they might be able to create a layer of technology that allows them to facilitate their farming goods or whatever to a certain limited, range, a geography, a certain level of land or whatever, or people in a vicinity of some area. But then that becomes perhaps a legal issue with the state if the state doesn't like it, and there can be all kinds of issues there, little tiny wars going on. But also, you gotta keep in mind, you bring up Google a lot, which makes sense. If you look at the word Google backwards, it's L, like God, L, Goog, which in Australia is slang for egg. Yeah, E-L. Yeah, backwards, E-L, like L. And Goog in Australian slang, if I'm not mistaken, Australia, correct me if I'm wrong, Goog can refer to an egg. So it's the God egg. Google is the God egg. They're going to hatch the Antichrist. That's what Google was all about. El Goog backwards. So there you go.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. And again, as we always do, we mistake historical, like human history, big changes as being, One day you wake up, they say we've dissolved the borders, and now you must join a nation state. When the reality is we've been doing it this whole time. It would take almost zero transitionary trauma to just start having this be the case. And it may be the case now. It may become the case, and they wouldn't even tell anybody. It just would be matter of fact.
Well, yeah, and corporations now operate above nation states already, you know, so there's already that happening, and like you said, we're already pretty much. I mean, I already have thought about it as we're in it. We just don't call it a network state. There are aspects that we are already operating as a network state. Or varying network states, maybe early stages. Maybe, you know, obviously it hasn't been recognized. No network state has been officially recognized as a jurisdiction or something like that. But those things will come, and especially with robots. You know, there are going to be people that own robot farms that other people are going to want a little ownership of whatever is produced out of that robot farm, and so you know you become instant marketeers for that robot factory if you can own a piece of it and benefit from it, and that'll be a big part of it. There's a crypto layer to this as well. The monetary engine that will allow this to happen. Well, I mean, that's the guy that wrote about the network state was looking at Bitcoin as the catalyst for all of this. So it is the it was what got him to think about network states.
And it's another essential. It's another essential aspect to the delineation between one network state and another is the currency
infrastructure. Yep, the currency. Yep. So there you go. I mean, this is a long-standing philosophical thing. We'll come back to some of the philosophy of governance in a second here, but I think we should talk a little bit about Trump and Elon and H-1B because it ties together. It does connect to all this.
Yeah. So. Speaking of social media being totally inhabited by AI, the network state slowly becoming our reality, we got to talk about Trump and Elon and X and Mars
and Hindus. Hindus are gonna build it.
We will launch a new age.
There's Elon here.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
This is coming from Reuters.com. Trump sides with Elon Musk in H-1B visa debate. Says he's always been in favor of the program. Now, this exploded over the weekend. I was hearing commentary about, this has split the right. The right is in turmoil. They can't agree. Oh, no, the technocrats duped the conservatives. But I wasn't quite sure exactly what the finer points were.
Another reason why you want to be hooked into the Canary Cry network state or an independent media network state, because when you have the powers and principalities of advertising and corporate interest involved in your alt media, they're going to play right along with the divide and conquer tactics of the establishment.
Right. So basically, and before I go into some of the highlights here I have for the Reuters, let me read a little bit from the Newsweek, just because it summarizes some of the story a little bit better. The Newsweek article is titled, "Can H-1B visa holders change jobs? Critics call workers indentured servants." Amid Republican inter-party contention over H-1B visas and immigration policy, some misconceptions about workers' ability to change employers have been circulating, with some critics of the program likening it to indentured servitude. President-elect Donald Trump campaigned on a platform of cracking down on immigration and carrying out mass deportations, pledges supported by many of his loyalists. Notice how he says immigration, Newsweek. They don't say illegal versus legal or just immigration, the topic. However, two top Trump advisors, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, who are set to co-lead the new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, have a less strict stance on the issue, and their social media posts this week have caused blowback within the GOP. Blowback, Basil, blowback. It's falling apart. At the center of the debate is the H-1B visa program, which allows U.S. companies to employ foreign workers with specialized knowledge or expertise. Some critics of the program are calling it, quote, indentured servitude of foreign workers, saying that visa holders cannot change jobs. while changing jobs as a visa holder is more logistically challenging, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the way Newsweek talks about this is not even fully I wouldn't say not accurate, but I mean, would you say inaccurate? Because I feel that it's kind of
I mean,
not
it's
the
not
point.
inaccurate, but they took a very interesting sort of side angle to it. They
Right.
came
They
at it
kind
from
of
the
sidestepped
side.
the because the right are fighting, so they don't want to get in the way of the fighting.
Good point.
It seems. So okay, back to the Reuters here. So basically, it's this idea of companies hiring foreign workers for specialized things and having that a work visa, basically, right? I mean, in short.
Which, to be fair, I think has been abused
of course.
in recent years. So this idea, the H-1B was originally, I think it was created specifically, I could be wrong, but I want to say it was created, or something like it, or the proto version of it, was created to bring over the Nazi scientists after World War II.
Really? Was it part of Paperclip?
I think it was related to. I think the.
Oh no, I'm seeing here H-1B. Yeah, it was an Immigration Act of 1990. George W. Bush.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
brought
the
it in.
proto
But the idea,
the system. You know,
it is very paperclip. It is
document exactly. It was
it
was to document the ultra high achievers that we could take from other nations. And it was considered worth giving them citizenship because we can, you know, steal them and
get the brightest Nazi scientists to build UFOs and fake moon landings.
It's worked so far, yeah.
It's good.
And so originally, you know, it's kind of supposed to be highly specialized like that. I think one issue that's kind of muddying the waters right now is that it has been, like all of our legal immigration systems, has been sort of taken advantage of, loosened up, and now, you know, you can come over here to, you know, whatever, to do any sort of,
I'm an expert.
Any sort of labor, like, I don't want to say anything specific because it'll point people out, but
racist.
You know what I'm talking about. You know, whatever, you know, it's not the highly specialized thing I think it was meant to be.
Let's go back to Reuters. Let's find out what the altercation was. Why are the right bickering? The altercation was set off earlier this week by far-right activists who criticized Trump's selection of Sriram Krishnan, an Indian-American venture capitalist, to be an advisor on artificial intelligence, saying he would have influence on the Trump administration's immigration policies. Okay. Musk's tweet was...
Weird. The AI guy will have influence on immigration. Weird. It's almost like a crazy podcast has been talking about that for years.
I know. Musk's tweet was directed at Trump's supporters and immigration hardliners who have increasingly pushed for the H-1B visa program to be scrapped amid a heated debate over immigration and the place of skilled immigrants and foreign workers brought into the country on work visas. On Friday, Steve Bannon, bad man Steve Bannon, a longtime Trump confidant, critiqued big tech oligarchs.
Steve Badman
Bannon. Critiqued big tech oligarchs, this in quotes, big tech oligarchs, for supporting the H-1B program and cast immigration as a threat to Western civilization. Not illegal immigration, just immigration. That's how it's being framed, anyway. In response, Musk and many other tech billionaires drew a line between what they view as legal immigration and illegal immigration, which, you know, yes, Elon is pointing out the obvious here, and part of the issue of why this whole Steve Bannon narrative versus Elon narrative, the right fighting, it is a little bit of a, I hate to say it, but if you're looking at it, if you're kind of like a political sheeple, which a lot of people are, they're not like super into the topics. They're more just like, they get the narrative lines that they reinforce with a political leader or not, right? With those people, it's kind of like, oh, immigration, it's ruining our country. Legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. People coming in from other countries, destroying our country, and drawing that hard line,
right? And
making them fight the people that are like, no, we want more reasonable immigration policies, you know. So it's always something, a gap in intelligence, or maybe not intelligence, gap in not information, but informedness. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, I hear it. It's not a word, but I know what you're saying. You know, and it's tripping. This whole thing is really tripping me out.
It is trippy, yeah.
if it started with Bannon, like, who cares?
Right, that's the thing. Why?
Cares
I mean, I get it. Steve Bannon
said.
I mean, he's an evil genius on the right. I mean, that's we've been told for years that he's like this evil Nazi man.
That's when I knew immediately that this whole hullabaloo was a creation of the media. This is a creation of the media. The alt media is buying right into it yet again, and it's causing the ripples that a lot of people consider are actually very dangerous to the success of the Trump administration. All this type of stuff.
Yeah, but I do find it interesting that the mainstream are taking the opportunity to report on this tension within the right.
Oh, they love
They're able to do it without being in the story. They get to be the left or whatever, and just watch and point and report on it, and they can bring up their favorite characters like Steve.
They are loving it, and it's no coincidence that that has to be that way. Nobody would believe them if Bannon hadn't said it first. Like, you got to remember, Bannon is just a media figure. Bannon is a podcaster. Now, yes, he was once an aide to Trump. He was once a mouthpiece of the right for a while, but he is a podcaster. The fact that Bannon saying something has exploded into this rift within the right is just mind-blowing to me that people are like getting so caught up in it.
Didn't he partner with some Chinese investor in recent years after some of the stuff that happened in this country, in America anyway?
He has all sorts
he's got all kinds of stuff going on.
All sorts of funky business stuff going on.
Yeah, he worked at Goldman Sachs.
Yeah,
I mean, he comes out of the system, man.
Let's trust the globalist banker to set the tone.
Former, come on now,
the former globalist banker to set the tone for the right's politics.
Wow, listen to this list. Career before politics, investment banking, Hollywood producer, media and technology with Breitbart. So yeah, he was Breitbart. I remember now. He's a big name in the alt media, the building of the alt media culture. So yeah, I can see the mainstream using him as sort of a scapegoat there. But the greater conversation here about governance is palpable. I have this. Speaking of Elon here, I have this tweet that Elon, I guess, post, tweet, X, whatever you want to call it. Elon shared this the other day. He said, "The Martians will decide how they are ruled. I recommend direct rather than representative democracy. Uncrewed starships landing on Mars in 2 years." That probably means 20. "Perhaps with crewed versions passing nearby or near Mars and crewed starships heading there in 4 years are all possible." And of course, this brings up the philosophical discussions of governance. Hey, we're terraforming a whole planet. What kind of governance do we want to have?
How will they govern themselves, the Martians?
How will they govern themselves? Are they going to have AI to help them? Will they have AI? Will they have Tesla robots like serving people? Like, what is he talking about? But Mars also, of course, let's go off the deep end with Mars, because this whole Elon Mars thing from the get-go, to me anyway, because my brain is off in some crazy world, has been a can of worms being prepared to get dumped all over the general population about certain things about the alleged planet Mars that are part of our history, if you can say, both near and cosmic history. And we pay attention to different stories and topics and stuff, but sometimes there are two separate types of stories that seem like they don't relate, but over time it proves that they're kind of becoming one thing, right? And
or it was all part of some sort of third narrative build.
Right. Some narrative crafting going on. So this is dailymail.co.uk, so take it for what you will. It was published on December 23rd. And the title of this article is CIA Docs Claim Life Did Exist on Mars, and it was a population of very large people who built pyramids. Is this a Nephilim update?
Nephilim update.
I think this is like a quasi-Nephilim update. And they talk about Project Stargate, which, you know, I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I look and Stargate? And of course, I dusted off some Stargate notes. And yeah, Stargate was declassified in 1995 when they first finished the project. May 22nd, 1984 is the date that the Mars exploration, the remote viewing took place.
Yeah, so that's the name of this new document, Mars Exploration, May 22,
right.
1984.
Wait, is that the new one you said? This is the new document?
Well, quote unquote new. This is this came out on the 23rd. It came out in a few different outlets, and people who are tweeting about it, sharing it, say, "Oh, on Christmas Eve, they just drop a new document. They declassified a document about remote viewing of Mars and giant Nephilims and pyramid. They do it on Christmas Eve." And you look at the doc, you go to the actual doc in the FOIA section of the CIA website. The thing was declassified in 2000. So it's a 24-year-old declassification. So to your point, okay, why is it suddenly across the board on the mainstream media being reported that there's a new document that says Mars had people and pyramids when the document came out in the year 2000 or something?
Right. Well, it seems like there were levels of
some
release. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I know. We went through this before. The
I
one
know.
you're
95, 2000,
it's a different one. There's a
2017.
number of documents.
Sure.
But anyways, whatever it was 20-something years ago that this document was released. And, you know, the question is, why does every media outlet put out new drop? Oh, my gosh. Well, it's obviously because there's some narrative crafting around Mars being done at this exact moment. And of course, if it's about Mars, it's going to have to do with Elon. Now, the document's actually very fun. I see you have the actual web version pulled up there. The actual photocopy document does exist. It's out there. I read through it. It's only 9 pages. It's a fascinating document. It's a transcript of a remote viewing session that like the CIA did, and they had all these coordinates, and they had this remote viewer visit all these coordinates on Mars and made him like travel through time at those coordinates. And that's where he, you know, comes up with the big Nephilim people and the pyramids. I talked to giants. They thought I was a hallucination. Like there's some very interesting stuff in there. But yes, also very old. No reason to drop it on New Year's Eve
or Christmas Eve or whatever.
Yeah, sorry, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and of course, this brings up some old topics for old school Canarians. We had an episode on Mars. I believe it was, what was it, episode 21, did I say? I had it pulled up at some point.
So long ago.
I know. It was like 2012, August, and it was about Mars. And you know what's funny? I was trying to think of the guy's name a couple episodes ago. I was like, there was a guy who said he was in Project Stargate. And remember the whole narrative about this guy? He says he was recruited to Project Stargate. He was in a classroom, and Obama's right there. And they told us that we're all going to be presidents one day. And this guy thought he was going to be president in 2016. His name is Andrew Basiago. I don't know if you remember Andrew Basiago, but I went back to our website, Basil, and there was a hyperlink to The Discovery of Life on Mars, published by Andrew Basiago, president of the Mars Anomaly Research Center, Mars. And the first line of the...
he had claimed that part of this training was also time travel.
Right.
And he had a probably quite obviously doctored image of like him being president in 2016 with like people holding up rally signs, Basiago 2016. Like, it's like, here's the proof I'm meant to be president in 2016.
But I pulled up the document here, and it says, abstract, there is life on Mars. And you scroll through here, and I remember looking up, there's a particular image. It's the Jesus figure. And for those of you watching, you'll see it. You might remember it. I remember this because I went to the NASA website, found the actual image. At the time, I don't know if they still do, but they published the full size document. So you'd open it up and you can zoom in and it's like super zoomed in horizon picture of Mars, allegedly. And there is what looks like a statue of a person or a merman or something. I mean, I guess nature conformed that, Basil. I don't know. What do you think? You think
There's
this
lots
is
of suspicious things.
I mean, it does look like a statue of a guy with his arm. I mean, who knows, right? The other stuff, a little more questionable, a little more blurry, a little more conjecture. I don't know if it's hard proof. You know, a little pile of rocks. It's an enclosure. You know, and he had some wild ones too, where it was like another rock, and it's like this is a spine of a giant creature from Mars in the ancient past, and all this stuff. So this type of conversation has always been in the fringes, like in the conspiracy circles, and so that's not surprising. But for it to start becoming, or for it to have a place in public conversation as Elon starts to do his whole mission to Mars thing, which I think is his sort of his muse, or his what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
His white whale?
Yeah, it's just like his big finale. You know, it was probably going to be a thing to Mars or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's it. No, that's his like ultimate goal. He's said this before. He's like
magnum opus.
I decided I wanted to go to Mars. How do I get to Mars? Well, I build an electric car company, and then I use the money from that to start a space company, and then, you know, he had this whole thing you laid out, whether it's true or not. But
and I want to just land all this with, there is a Christian. He's passed away now. He passed away in 2012, actually, just a few months before the end of the world back in 2012, if you remember, December 21st. And his name is David Flynn. He wrote a book called Cydonia, The Secret Chronicles of Mars. And in it, he documents a lot of interesting aspects about Mars. Specifically, and I actually created a little GPT based on his writing, his book. That maybe I'll share. I've got to figure out some things, how to keep it secure and share and whatnot. But basically, the idea here is that what David Flynn outlines in his book is that there's a place on Mars. He starts with the face on Mars. I think people are somewhat familiar with the face on Mars, and says that it was an ancient structure of a half lion, half human face looking up as a motif into the heavens, like looking at the heavens type thing. And he outlines this whole narrative of ancient history, symbolism from Cydonia. There's a specific place on Mars named Cydonia, and he looks at the architecture. There are some potential pyramid type structures. People have talked about that. There's another guy. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name. He's not a Christian, but he's doing this type of research and, you know, talking about structures on Mars. This is a conspiracy rabbit hole that's been around for a long time. And David Flynn's theory is that an ancient civilization existed on Mars, and that they were sort of the peak of civilization of some kind. It got destroyed, and he actually shows scripture to support his ideas, which you can disagree with, but the stones of fire that Satan walked on, I think it's in Isaiah, David Flynn suggests that perhaps those are planets, and, you know, Satan had an abode that was taken down. Perhaps that was Mars. Like, he has all these theories based on it. But the general idea here is that there were symbols that are left on Mars, that the ancient ruins are there on Mars. They mirror architecture on Earth with the megaliths and the ley lines and things of that nature. And that the mythology, all the mythology that we talk about, Genesis 6 and all of that, stems from this idea that there is this other race, or this other pre-Adamic race that existed. Perhaps they were called the B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of God, or the Watchers. And, you know, they tie in, obviously, to the human story and Earth, and even Christ, and why he was going through what he did in his ministry in the New Testament. So I just want people to be aware that there is a way to investigate this stuff. There are authors that have come before us that dedicated their lives to researching this and at least trying to put some kind of biblical explanation, a rooted or grounded biblical explanation to all of it. You don't have to go to Elon Musk's narrative, you know, to understand or at least investigate these topics. So there you go. I just wanted to talk about that because, you know, David Flynn was very influential for me.
Sure.
And, you know, I loved his research.
H-1B to Elon to Mars to
David Flynn. Yeah, I know. This is only on this show. You don't get this anywhere else, folks.
It's a classic.
Nowhere else.
Okay, well, let's take let's take some a second here and thank some producers who came in and produced the show.
Ready?
Yeah, I always feel like we are supposed to have a jingle right there, but we
I mean,
haven't had one
I can
for
play
years.
a jingle if you want me to. Here, let's summarize. Oh, you know what?
Should we bring back the break jingle?
Maybe. I got this one.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
And then we have this from last episode. Who was this that gave this to us? I can't remember this. Jonathan F.
We only exist because of producers just like you who get value from the show and they put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure. There's lots of ways to do it. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. Their talent or their treasure for you.
Whatever works for you, folks. Yeah, we got some producers. A little handful of producers who came in under the executive producer amount, which if you come in over $7.77, that entitles you to have a note read on the show. Under that, we keep track of your streak, and that's always very fun. And we've got people who have been supporting the show for almost 500 episodes in a row, which is very impressive. Actually, oh my gosh. This looks like this might be somebody's 500th. Okay.
Holy moly.
We should have had a jingle ready for that.
We can make
We
one.
never do.
Let's make one now. We can just acapella
well,
when we get there.
We're going to start out with some of these financial producers, starting out with producer Elio came in.
Elio. Thank you, Elio.
Yeah, Elio came in
Appreciate
for
Elio.
777 and is on a 51 episode streak.
Thank you, Elio.
Next up, we got Sir Morv came in for 1111.
Sir Morv.
11. He's on a 9 episode streak.
That is lit.
Where'd you find this?
Hey, you lit now. You lit now. Jason T comes in. He joins the supply drop for a 33 a month.
Jason T, Illuminatus.
Illuminatus!
And as far as I can tell, that's the end of that list. So thank you very much to those 3 producers. Yeah, the execs, the executive producers picking up the slack. I love it.
Wow,
It's
yeah,
good.
execs carrying.
I mean,
This is
heck,
crazy.
Yeah. Now we haven't thanked the under 777 people in a few episodes for sake of time, but I think because the list is so short, we should thank them right now. Starting with Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man, who's on a 110 episode streak.
Whoa, that is a long streak.
We have Veronica D on a 448 episode streak.
Veronica D, thank you.
We have Sir Scott with 296 episodes in a row.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, thank you.
Then we have the one, the only Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Who today is his 500th episode in a row that he has produced.
500? 500?
500.
500.
Very impressive. It's crazy.
500.
It's actually crazy. 500. There it is. That's a good one. There you go. Thank you to all the financial producers who make this show happen. Thank you to all of our monthly producers. We got these cool programs like this Canary Supply Drop. You come in, you support the show for $33 a month, and every quarter you'll get a package sent to you, just chock-a-block full of cool Canary Cry gear. It's designed by Canarians. It's made by Canarians. It's shipped by Canarians. That's right. So you're not just supporting the show, although you are supporting the show, but you're also supporting other people like you who are helping the show out. It's just an incredible system, folks, making it happen. And yeah, go to canarycrysupply.com if you want that. We also, if t-shirts are more your speed, you can go to canarycryt-shirtcouncil.com. That's for $19.84 a month. You'll get a t-shirt every quarter, but you'll also be one of the most important people in the world voting on what that t-shirt is. It's a very important job for those who
vote
choose to
on
accept it.
the uniforms of your network state.
The network state.
Citizen.
You're the council. And then, you know, but if none of those programs kind of work for you, you can just go to canarycry.support. You can put your own number in, and that's where the key is, folks. You get to look back. We're not selling your consciousness by advertising to you and taking money from corporations. Look, maybe you like ads. Maybe you love ads. Maybe you've just been trained your entire life to get media for free by paying for it with your consciousness. And remember, folks, those who think they are the most immune to marketing, studies show, are the least immune to marketing. And it's not just about individual products, folks. It's about a system of mammon, the beast system, who has convinced us all that trading our time, our consciousness, our very spirit for free stuff is a good deal. But not here. Here, there's no corporate money, no corporate influence, no self-censoring for the sake of keeping the show profitable. None of that. It is entirely produced by people like you. We're at the end of 2024. Take a second as we're all lamenting what 2024 was for pretty much all of us. I got to have my horrible year on the air and was so happy to hear that other people were in similar spiritual battles or spiritual battles that I could never understand. And yet here we are standing shoulder to shoulder with believers around the world, and our spiritual battles, of course, constituting a broader spiritual war. Looking back on this year, what did the show, what did the community, what did any of this mean to you? Did the show help you make it through in one way or another? Did it provide clarity? Did it at least distract you? Did any of these good things happen because of this show? And that's an opportunity to put value on it. What value did you get from the show? And come in and support it. I know we'll have people coming in next episode for their New Year's resolution producerships. That's a good way. You know, I know there is a group of people out there who consider New Year's resolutions to be some sort of witchcraft, which I don't know. That's an interesting concept.
Is it to keep people complicit or compliant in their slavery? You know,
Perhaps.
they think they have change coming.
Don't
but then,
change. Don't change. That's witchcraft. I don't know. I've never had somebody actually give me a very good breakdown. But you know me, I'm always happy to find the witchcraft in whatever's going on, especially if it's advertising. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, people coming in. That's an interesting producer drive. Your New Year's resolution producership. Because, you know, how do you make resolutions happen? Well, the first thing you do is you get accountability.
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 Others. You need to be accountable to others.
Not only can this help you, have some accountability for your New Year's resolution, but you can also inspire others. And if Canarians in our little network state here, if we're not inspiring each other to be the best versions of ourselves as possible in order to carry forth the will of God on this earth and his kingdom, this is like a Gideon's army type of situation. We need 300 solid soldiers to come out and get something done. We might not have the biggest listenership. We might not have the biggest channel. We might even have our small channel here disappear at any moment. But that's not how God works. God works with the people that he gives the gifts to and the people that he lays it on his heart, on their hearts. And if he's laying it on your heart to be one of the few, one of the mighty Canarians who are coming in for this New Year's producership opportunity to inspire, uplift, encourage other Canarians, because 2025 is when it all turns around, folks, but only if we make it turn around. That's a fun idea. Do that if you want to do that. If you produce over at canarycry.support, Most of those options will give you a note option when you go through the little portal there. But if it doesn't, make sure to send us an email with your commitment. We won't call them resolutions. We'll call them New Year's commitment to Christ for 2025. You can just email us that at canarycryradio@gmail.com. All right.
Sounds good.
I think that's that.
Let me mention real quick.
Yeah, sorry. We have some producer stuff that we need to throw out there too.
Before you do that, let me do this real quick, just because it's part of the pitch here. If you need to support us in other ways, there's other ways to do it. You can support us with your time and talent, specifically your talent, artwork, jingles, ISOs, boots on the ground reporting, anything that you can do to contribute to the show. Go to canarycry.art and you can submit artwork there at the very least, and then you can email canarycry@gmail.com to send us other things if you have other things.
Yeah, we didn't have any art today. I thought
I know, that's why I just want to mention it.
Last show of the year didn't have any art.
I know. Very
okay, call the producers real quick. This is another very important part of what's going on here, and would never happen if we were taking corporate sponsors, but that's how we roll. We have the producers, which is anybody within the thrall of my voice right now who wants to commit to praying for the show, praying for us, praying for the producers of the show, and there's lots of prayer requests that come in. So if you consider yourself a prayer warrior or want to become one in 2025, this message and this jingle is for you.
Producers, assemble!
This one came in from Lily of the Canarium. Sent a message here. Hi, Basil and Gons. Please pass on a prayer request to the producers. My wife and I are struggling in our relationship. Please pray that God's will be done in our lives and our marriage. All right, producers, get on it here. This is Lily of the Canarium. That's shoot. I mean, any marriage who made it this far into 2024 and hasn't maybe even murdered each other, that's very impressive. But when the world gets like this and the spiritual atmosphere gets like this, this is tough. It's tough to be interacting with other humans, especially with the stresses of marriage, the stresses of just being in the world. And so we're going to be keeping Lily of the Canarium in our prayers. Say a little prayer right now. Put it in your prayer journal. Remember it. Lily of the Canarium and spouse of Lily of the Canarium. We shall be praying for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Now we had this other one. This one's a little long, but I think it's important. I think it's I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this. I think it's very important. I think there's a lot of people who this might resonate with. And again, here at the end of the year, the start of a new year, this is the kind of very important stuff that this show provides that a lot of other shows it's not included. This is from, who is this from? Laura Lee V. Laura Lee V sent in this email. Hey, Basil and Gons, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the hard work and amazing content that y'all come out with. This show is something I always look forward to. I just want to say thank you again for always spreading the truth and spreading the word of Jesus. And a bunch of heart emojis here. She says, with that being said, I've come to a point in my life where I'm begging for some help and prayers from the Canary family. My faith has always been something I've questioned and struggled with my whole life. I've recently been going through some hardships that have shook me to my core, and through this has been leading me to a newfound faith in Jesus. My mother had been diagnosed with a tumor in her brain just recently, and I've been going through some things myself. I'm at a point of feeling so lost. I have no idea where to go from here. I want to find a Christian church in Houston, Texas area, but have no idea where to even begin. I have no friends who are Christian and feel as if I have no one to ask for help. I'm humbly coming to you guys because, quite honestly, I feel like I have no idea where to turn. I feel like this felt like the right place to start. Please pray for my mother, and if some Canarians in the Houston, Texas area can help me in locating a real church. I don't mind this being shared at all. I am just wanting prayers for my mother, Rosalia, for healing and recovery and suggestions to a church in the Houston, Texas area. Thank you for taking the time to even read this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys again, Laura Lee V. Yeah, goodness gracious. I mean, if that's not the year that we just had, I don't know what is. So, producers out there, we're praying for Laura Lee V, and this is a big shout out. You know, I know reading these things in the producer segments, a lot of people skip it. So hopefully a producer or two in the Houston area, or a listener or a viewer in the Houston area, feel free to reach out to us at canarycryradio@gmail.com if you would like to get connected with Laura Lee in Houston. And yeah, this is what I'm saying. You know, we've kind of been feeling this the past couple of years where it's like, you know, the online, you know, Canary Cry network state is very important. God's doing a lot of work through it. But man, connecting on a person-to-person level, whether it's meetups, whether it's church, whether it's starting a commune, whatever it is, like we're moving into the era of human history where like we got to start getting back to human beingville. So any Canarian in the Houston area, send an email to canarycryradio@gmail.com. Just say, hey, heard the thing about Laura Lee. Whatever. You want to be friends. You got a church. You got whatever. And then, of course, producers out there, we're praying both for Laura Lee V and her own walk during all of this, but also for Rosalia for healing and recovery to that brain tumor. My goodness, that's a horrible thing. But God is good. So there you go, Texans, Houston Canarians. Send us an email, canarycryradio@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Yep.
I have something here, Basil.
Okay.
There's a letter. Came in the snail mail. Snail mail. Dear Basil and Gons, you two have been in my ears since 2012. I'm grateful to God that I found your podcast. The past 12 years, it has truly felt like I had two friends closer than a brother standing shield to shield with me. The parts of your work that have affected me the most were when you both try your best to equip the saints with wisdom, knowing that the great deception is a threat to all. For the glory of God, you have made a difference here. Please find the Canary sculptures I printed.
Ooh.
Pleasant to look at. And yes, I have one here. I don't know if maybe go
Those
into...
are cool.
Yeah, so the green screen effect is...
It's like a 3D printed thing?
It is. It says here that... and the canary yellow knives. Oh, yes, the canary yellow knives. That's the other thing. I have yours, Basil. I'll send you yours.
Yay.
I just opened it. And yes, I have a canary
doggy
knife.
Look at that. Not going to lose that one.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't show this on the screen. YouTube.
YouTube might be mad.
It says here, please find the canary sculptures I printed. Pleasant to look at, and the canary yellow knives I've included pleasant to use. There's one for one of each for both of you. D Mooch, please. Sole Dio Gloria. Merry Christmas, love. Taft, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Taft.
Do you think we can demooch you?
Yeah.
Add the knife to my sash here.
The Canary Cry producership barter system has been a long-standing option. Not one that we talk about very often, but we love it when we get stuff like this, especially stuff that people make. Is very special. Both you and I have a couple shelves. I've got a couple shelves in my office here, just filled with the cool stuff that people have sent to us. I love it.
Yeah. I think we're gonna, at least for me, I would like to get rid of this
green
wall
screen.
here.
Do the office look.
Yeah, the office look, which I
Display.
suggested to you 2 years ago. You weren't into it, but maybe now you change your tune.
Yeah, well, that was when we were green screened into the set here. We weren't in these boxes, you know.
Yeah,
it was like we were
true.
floating in our cyber world. I like that a little bit more, but we can't do that anymore. So yeah, I could go office. It's just gonna mean I'm gonna need to clean my office, which is maybe the most difficult part about all of this.
One
very much,
last
Taft.
thing. Yes, thank you, Taft. One last thing. We're just going to cover everything here, and we'll do a couple stories and have you on your way. We have a message here from Grace, Miss G Beauty.
You know what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, just because we're in it.
You want to wait till the end?
No.
Oh, was there another prayer?
There was another note, and this one came in actually before Christmas. And it's very nice. It's very touching, but it kind of just feels like in this zone that we're in right now, the spirits may be leading me to read this, and hopefully I'm trying to scan it to make sure that there wasn't requested to be read on air. I think it's fine. I won't say the name of the person until the end, just in case they're like, oh, by the way, don't read it. I think it's fine though. This came from another Canarian, and again, look, I've been saying it recently. This show is 90% run on moral support. So maybe this will be encouraging to someone, not just, to tell us nice things, but, to maybe recognize the good stuff in your life when it comes to the Canarian. It says, hey there, my name is Basil. We'll say the name later as long as it's relevant. And I've been listening to you guys since 2016. I'm currently listening to Canary Cry radio episode you guys just put out with Melissa and Aaron. I love them, and Truth 3 Media. We need more people like all of you. I'm 100% in support of you guys letting out your frustrations on the show. Aaron and Melissa are awesome, as you guys are. We're all human, and we deserve to talk about ourselves. Well, that's very nice. Thank you. You guys are so selfless with all the value you bring to my life. It literally brings tears to my eyes thinking about all the like-minded people, that's y'all, who watch your show from around the world. I donate to the canarycry.tube monthly, but I always feel so embarrassed because I want to do more. Well, no reason to feel embarrassed. I work in lawn care, so I'm outside a lot, and you guys are in my ears literally almost every day of the week. Looking back at how much time I've spent hearing both of you, I realize how invested I am in your show. You have contributed so much to my mental health that I can honestly say you guys, at least in part, have saved my life. On a day-to-day basis, I feel utterly alone, even amongst my family. But when I think of everyone in the Canarium, that's you guys, I realize that I am really not alone. Christ definitely led me to you and all, to you all, and I couldn't be more grateful. I plan on attending the meetup in Indiana in January if my nerves hold up. The thought of meeting other listeners of this show and seeing their real faces in front of me both excites and terrifies me. I know, that's people for you. With all my heart and all my soul, I thank you guys. Who knows if I'll ever meet you guys or any Canarians in this lifetime. I hope that I do. I do know I'll see you all in the kingdom of God once this fallen world has passed away. Thank you, Basil, and thank you, Gons, for all you've given to me in my life. I will never be able to repay you enough. I love you guys to the moon and back, and I pray sincerely that God blesses you as much as you've blessed me. Peace out. God bless and long live the Canarium. Baka!
Woo!
Well, thank you very much, Sir James. This is from Sir James, so thank you.
Sir James, thank you.
Yeah, really, really touching letter to me. I mean, we got it before Christmas. That was very special. But I think what I want to do is, well, first of all, accept your praise and thank you for telling that story. It's a good way for Gons and I to remember that, like, what we do, people are actually listening, and everybody's not just numbers, and that kind of stuff. We're constantly in an existential crisis when it comes to this stuff. But also the producers. I mean, we couldn't be doing what we're doing if it weren't for the producers. And, there's Sir James mentioned, feeling bad about not being able to produce more, but the point is, and this is important for all producers, you're not just producing the show for Gons and I to throw us a couple bucks so we can get a nice dinner or something. You're producing for the other listeners. Like, the producers, those are real human beings just like you, also mowing their lawn, producing the show, making it available to people who are unable to produce the show. If there was a paywall, if there was any sort of things. Of course, we could talk about advertisement and sucking your soul out of your ears that way, turning you into some sort of robot for mammon, but we won't talk about that. Producers, you guys are bringing the same light, whatever goodness that this show, whatever that this show creates. The producers are truly co-creators. And when we get nice notes like this, and hearing the story of people's sort of adventure with us in their lives, it is equally as important for every producer who has ever produced to know that that's like on them as well.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
I just want to make sure that we're all going into 2025, like really, hopefully, like viscerally understanding that this, isn't just kind of another piece of media available on the internet. This is like something special. And if it wasn't something special, it wouldn't be here. That's how the system works.
Right.
But because, it is made special by the producers making it happen. So there you go. Just a big shout out to anybody who has ever supported this show with their time, their talent, or their treasure.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Speaking of which,
yeah.
Dame Miss G Beauty.
Yeah, Dame Miss G Beauty gave us a note here and anticipation.
Hello, Basil and Gons. It's Miss G Beauty here, and we just wanted to say Happy New Year! For me and my nieces. They're here over New Year's and birthday with me. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm working on the bingo for this year, and it's coming along awesome, and that it will be on the way soon within the first couple weeks of January. So get excited. It's going to be epic. And Happy New Year's. God bless, and pray everything's going well for you guys. All right. Have a good day. Bye.
It's
Thank
gonna
you.
be epic. Thank you very much, Dame Miss G Beauty. This is great. This we have not talked about for
enough.
Enough this year for sure. But pretty much every year, I think Miss Dame Miss G Beauty creates a bingo card for the year, kind of based on the things that are happening in the world, happening on the show, being predicted on the show, the Red Book entries, that kind of stuff. And you can actually go to canarycrybingo.com, which still exists. And you can see a bunch of the previous bingo cards that she's made. And it's kind of, at the very least, it's fun. You can do it at home. You can do it throughout the year. It's kind of a fun thing. Stick on the refrigerator, and you can mark these things as they happen. But it's also very fun to do it kind of at the end of the year. So this was the Canary Cry Bingo 2024, Gons. You want to run through it, and shall we run through it and see if these things, if we can mark them off?
Yeah, let's do it. So let's see.
First
one.
Oh,
go ahead.
So the first one is Wake Up. By the way, for those who are just listening, like this is a highly produced bingo card. Each little square has its own beautiful, like textual art. Very cool, very fun. First one, Wake Up to Moon Deception. I don't know if there's been a mass wake up to the moon deception, although there's definitely more flat earthers than ever before.
Is there?
I don't know.
You think so? More flat
I think
earthers?
so.
Really?
I see
That's
it
interesting.
more. I see it more than ever before.
I see less
think
of it. That's interesting.
If nothing else, flat Earth is just a wonderful sort of anti-establishment
It is.
stake, position to take rather, that I think is more informative if you think about it as that rather than literal. But people, you can think it's literal. I don't know what I think the moon is hollow. So don't listen to me. Next one, crazy weather catastrophe.
Oh,
yeah,
100%. 100%.
Hurricanes, crazy hurricanes, unexplained hurricanes, radar stations creating hurricanes. I don't know.
Yep.
That one's good. Okay, past disease resurges. I think bird flu might work.
I was going to say, I think bird flu, just in the nick of time, pulled it off.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one.
Mainstream magic analysis of culture.
Yeah.
Bro, this is like, that was the whole
MIT
thing
article
this year. Yeah, that was,
of course.
Like, that might be the most intensely prophetic one on this bingo card here. Basil Bunker. I did start Basil's Bunker this year, so that's crazy.
Yeah. You kind of free your connection got weird when you said bug out, and you sounded like a bug. It was weird. You were like Basil bunker. Yeah.
Credible UFO and or Nephilim evidence.
Alien or Nephilim evidence.
Yes, alien or Nephilim. I mean, all the UFO stuff.
Yeah,
all
the UFO stuff. I'd say maybe
it's
like half.
something.
Yeah,
what does credible really mean?
That's
though,
true. You're right. Everything has lost credibility. So yeah, what is credibility? I don't know.
Deep fakes disrupt election. We had some deep fake stuff. I was surprised it wasn't a bigger deal.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to pull out some serious deep fake disruption. They didn't quite do it.
They did it in other countries. It didn't really land here. I think with the Republican Party or the GOP putting out their AI Biden stuff and, clearly saying this is AI, got ahead of some of the more nefarious, perhaps, uses
cheap
of that
fakes,
this
though.
round.
Cheap fakes was a big deal.
That's true, yeah.
The cheap fake thing. World War III is on the list. I mean, I think...
we made progress. Let's just, there's progress towards, yeah. It's
cyber outage. We had some major cyber outages.
Oh, yeah.
I think that counts. Influencers push stable coin. I don't know about that crypto guy. Stable coin specifically. I was gonna say like Haktua meme
Why would
coin.
you even mention that on the show, Basil?
It's her legal government name, Gons.
That is not.
It's her legal government name that her father and mother gave to her in front of God and the government.
No, you want to know?
That was a meme coin.
You want to know a crazy story? And maybe young people need to put on No, they don't need to put on earmuffs, but maybe parents can explain what's going on. But let me just tell this: if you don't know what this is, it comes from a bad. No, it's just a silly thing that happened over Christmas.
It's so much worse.
I'm not going to explain it. I'm not going to explain it, but I'll tell you what happened. Okay.
Are you going to tell the people
I am not going to tell. No, I am not. I am not. I'm telling
I
a story.
don't believe you.
I'm going to tell a story. Me and my sister and her husband were talking about the token. Okay. There was a cryptocurrency token named after it, pumped, dumped. The person, she disappeared. Who knows what she's doing now? Made millions of dollars. My sister had no idea what the cultural reference was. Okay. My daughter comes to the table, 7 years old, says, "What are you guys talking about?" And my sister goes, "Haktua."
No.
And me and my brother-in-law look at each other and went, "No, that is not okay." And my sister's going, "Why? What is it? What's the thing?" And so,
arguably, your guys' response was maybe the worst part of that. If you just would have let it go, your child would never have thought about it again.
Thankfully, we kind of moved on. I recognize that, Basil. So I had my moment of spitting out my coffee and trying to tone down my sister, reel her, settle down. But yeah, that happened.
If your kid notices that they can get a rise out of you by saying it, that's when it becomes common lexicon.
I know.
Anyways,
I know. But anyway, I don't know why we brought that up, Basil.
Well,
that is not a stable coin. That is quite the opposite of a stable coin. So.
This is very interesting. I've never had you respond so vociferously.
What? That's not true.
No, I'm usually the one trying to clean up your potty mouth. This is a new thing. Which I think is pretty funny because, again, I think maybe like your daughter, we could have moved on. It would be fine. But war with the Americas. I don't remember what this... Did we predict
probably South Americas.
War with the Americas? Okay.
War within the Americas? Yeah.
Didn't happen. Poop surveillance.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Well, because there was all that turmoil in South America, there was a lot of stuff going on with...
Yeah, I think
we talked about Brazil. We talked about
right. I don't know if it was war. I guess there was what was it? Who is moving? What's the G one? There's a
Guatemala.
Not Guatemala. It was a different one. Shoot, it was kind of obscure. It was like Guam, maybe? No, there's not Guam. There's some country that started occupying the oil fields in Venezuela or something weird like that.
We had that. Yeah,
I think
was that Venezuela?
I don't remember. There was another G country. I don't remember what it is. Okay,
Guyana?
Poop surveillance. Yes. Toilet surveillance has only continued. It is like a fully established thing in America now.
Yeah.
Every city has it. They're looking at all of your sewage. Free space. Beep bop. Reports of aliens in Antarctica. I don't know if we had reports of aliens. Nuclear threat, definitely. Fully
Big
nuclear
one.
threat.
Big one. Yeah, you can put a big old check mark on that one.
GMO food cures a disease. You know, I did a little search because I'm like, that sounds like they totally could have done it. They didn't quite have something like that. This one's a gimme. Episode 777. Yeah. Sophia like robot walks the runway. You know, I did a little Google search on this just to see if it happened. I'm surprised I didn't see anything about this year, but I found an article from 2009 about a robot walking in a fashion show. I didn't read too much into it, but like, there's no way that robot technology was where it needed to be in 2009.
No, a golf cart went down the walkway.
Yeah,
or
right.
something, you know, dressed up as a cow or something.
The next one is, will Basil get engaged? I did not get engaged this year, so that's a miss. Thank you for that. Age of Deceit 4, though. There you go. Age of Deceit 4 came out. That was not guaranteed to happen. Gons gets childcare. We did get childcare. Grid goes.
We checked that off right away.
Pretty early, yeah.
Yeah.
Grid goes dark.
I think so. Some parts of the grid went dark.
Grids went dark. I mean, Flippy massacre. I don't know if there was a Flippy massacre. No.
Yeah, maybe not a massacre.
There's a little. I would know about it if there's.
You would know about a Flippy massacre. Sure.
Kids learn how to crypto mine in school. Did a little search. I didn't see anything about that. Many deceived by AI God.
I mean, I think that continues to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it's within the spirit of the bingo, because we did have AI Jesus. You know, we had stuff like that. But I don't know if it's quite. I'm seeing a line that we got bingo this year. Do you see it?
You did? No.
Yep.
Is it
Gons gets childcare, episode 777, free space, cyber outage, Basil's bug out bunker. Boom. Bingo.
There we go. We got it. Woo! We did it.
This might be the first time we've ever done it.
Incredible job. Incredible
Good
job. And I'm looking forward to next year's now.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
All right. Waiting for it, Miss G Beauty.
Yep.
And when it's available, we will make it available to anybody else. Print it out, put it on your fridge, mark these off as we go. Okay.
All right, let's do it. You ready, Flippy? You ready for a Flippy update?
That was a crazy long break. We're
I know,
definitely going to get emails about that, but it's the end of the year.
I know.
It's the end of the year. We're celebrating. People don't want the news right now. They just want to listen to their buddies over, the holidays here. We're trying to keep it easy. All right, Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Time for the Flippy update, folks. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from the internet. This is a video from a YouTube channel called Planet Car News, which is not the original source, but it is a great video of the robot. For those who are just listening, what you're going to be hearing me describe is your kind of basic robot dog, your Spot the robot dog. However, I looked into it. This robot is $1,600, very cheap. But on the ends of the
I'm
robot
worried about
dogs,
how cheap it is for what it means for you next year.
Oh, wait till you see this video, because this is it. This is what I've been waiting
This is it. This is what we've been waiting for.
This robot dog has wheels on its feet. So you will see this dog do some pretty amazing things. It is also terrifying. Try to imagine running from this thing.
Well, he looks like Spot, by the way, for anyone who wants to know. He kind of looks like Spot. He's got the reverse
people
legs.
know. The robot
Okay.
dog.
All right, just making sure, yeah.
Spot the robot dog.
Yeah.
But he's got wheels on his feet. Big sort of wheels. All right, play this video and I'll describe it.
All right, here we go. I'm going to have some other music in the background that's appropriate, and I'll let you describe what's happening here. Okay. So here we go.
Here he is. Unitron. Whoa! It's like an action sports video.
It's a skate video. Go.
It's a skate video. He's doing a crazy trick. He's standing up. He's spinning around. It's very fast. He's doing another crazy spinning trick. He's like a gymnast. He's like an Olympian gymnast.
He looks like he's breakdancing.
He's doing a kickflip. He jumped up and does his own kickflip.
He's going down a cliff.
Going down a cliff, rocks, off-road, wheeling. He's going like 30 miles an hour in the rocks, in the dirt, going downstairs, going like so fast. Now he's in the water, zooming around. He looks like he's jet skiing at this point. He's like turned into a jet ski video. Now he's climbing up a waterfall with wheels on his feet. Boom, over another log. Little 180.
180 over a log.
180 shove it over a log. Boom. Now he's coming down a forest, flying down the hill. It's like a mountain bike video. He's up. There's not been one crash. Now he's cruising through sort of a ravine. This is where I imagine maybe he's looking for some terrorists or something. Anti-robot terrorists. Climbing up the hill, climbing down the hill. Now he's
on two wheels?
2 wheels, standing up straight, falling down like a 10-foot jump, landing and cruising. Now, the best part is coming up here soon, folks. Now he's on what looks to be like a motocross track.
He's got 40 kilograms on his back.
He's got weight on his back. He's got a lot of weight on his back, which is kind of like, okay, he can carry weight. Why would he need to weight?
No.
The guy gets on him. He's riding him like a little horsey, and he's cruising at like 20 miles an hour on the motocross track. Now, the robot by himself jumps into a half pipe, cruising back up the half pipe, doing some tricks, doing a spin, coming in for the grand finale, the triple axle unitary extreme testing. This is the most serious extreme sports robot. This robot is sponsored by Red Bull for sure. This,
for sure.
Yeah, Red Bull has their hands all over this. Most exciting robot dog I've ever seen. And the fact that you can ride it and do all these things, this is like serious tactical advantage for military personnel. The cavalry is going to become a new thing in the age of robotic warfare, and they'll be riding
the reemergence of the cavalry.
Yeah,
this time
they'll all
with
be riding these
robots.
robot dogs. It's
They
serious
need to make them a little
business.
bigger and get the robot horses going. I think that's when we'll really see some.
Yeah. Caleb
some
says
change.
it literally has the kangaroo legs that Basil's been dreaming about for over a decade. Thank you for remembering. And yes, it does. It's crazy. Denise, thank you. Great video for the song. Good choice on the song there, Guns. The song
I think
on
it
the
worked out
video
very
was
good. Yeah.
really annoying. So
Yeah, the actual song that whoever edited this, they needed robot girl, robot boy.
So the Flippy update might just become an action sports segment from now on.
I hope so. I hope we get robot celebrities doing extreme sports and we can, analyze their moves and stuff. We should be judges at these events. I mean, really, if they want real opinions.
Yeah, they're gonna get Tony Hawk. They're not gonna get us. They're
Why
gonna
not?
get
We know it's Tony Hawk.
They're gonna
What does
get
he know?
action sports. Travis Pastrami, Tony Hawk, Pastrana. is
Travis
his name.
Pastrami? Who?
Yeah,
What?
Travis Pastrana. I think he's a
Pastrana?
He's started in motocross, then went to racing cars. Famous action sports man.
Yeah, Shaun White. Didn't Shaun White just go down
Shaun White,
Everest, Mount Everest or something?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Somebody. Okay, easy
irrelevant.
prediction. This is going to inspire some extreme sports guy to do some gnarly stuff.
No, action sports guys are gone. Don't need them.
You think they're
Or
gone?
gals.
You don't think they're gonna?
They're
you
gone.
don't
It's
think
all
they're gonna
about
ride
robots.
this and do
robot sports? That would be a good marketing material. I want. So on the video, you see the robot do like its own kickflip with its own body. It's very impressive. I want to see it do that with Tony Hawk riding on it.
Well, that's
like
what I'm
a
saying, man.
horse.
It's going to be a duet. It's a symbiosis.
X Games, Night of the Hungry Panda says. All right. That's all I got. That's your Flippy update for the day, folks.
Our Flippy update is just check out this robot.
Check it out. It's the one. This is the one. This is the dangerous one.
It's the one.
There is no running. The robot dogs, they boast like it can run 8 miles an hour. Like you can get away from the robot
Can you
dog
imagine?
that's walking. And, you say like, oh, but it's on legs, so it can get over rough terrain. That's what makes Spot so dangerous. Putting wheels on the legs is like 100 times more deadly watching this thing traverse like just extraordinary terrain. It's crazy.
Can you imagine? You know, the robot dogs were walking around Mar-a-Lago. Can you imagine Trump seeing this video and being like,
they need one
I
of these
want
ones
them
with the wheels.
Give me 100. I want my robot dogs.
But the CIA buying the Spot the robot dog to patrol Mar-a-Lago wasted taxpayer dollars, wasted money. Nobody should be getting robot dogs that don't also have wheels on them. There's no point.
All right. Well,
Plus,
there
you can't
go.
ride Spot like a horse, and
That's what I'm saying. This next level, they might replace the golf cart. I think this should replace the golf cart.
Yeah,
People on
replace something.
the golf courses walking around. All right, one last story here. It's cold. It's Russian.
Russia. So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Penguins.
Business Today. India, I think. .in.
Can you describe the format of
Yes,
this
I will describe the
news,
format.
the medium that is being delivered to us as
Yes.
news?
Now this article is titled "Russia Could Blow Up Antarctica. The fight for what's hidden under the ice begins."
Yeah.
This sounds
hello,
like
bingo card. This is a
like-
Canary Cry bingo thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Antarctica being the site or the catalyst of actual World War III.
Right.
It's not going to be Ukraine. It's not going to be Gaza. It's going to be Antarctica. And apparently the media is starting to get the message.
Yeah,
Now, you
and-
did say the title of the article was called
Sure.
Russia
Yeah.
Could
I mean,
Blow
I
Up
guess I was being a
Antarctica.
little. Yeah. This is not in the form of a traditional article. This is in the form of, I guess, Instagram stories where there's
It's a reel.
panels. A reel. Okay, so there's
Now-
panels.
Now,
Go
real
ahead.
quick, just so because
Yeah, I know.
You're a dad. You're
Yes.
a dad, and words matter, Gons.
Okay.
And
All right.
so
Fine. Great.
you might be led to believe that we pulled up the Instagram account for Business Insider or whoever this is.
Business
This
Today.
is
Yeah.
we are not on a social media account. However, it is in the form of either a Reels or a TikTok or a Stories, depending on what you're on. You know how you have a number of panels and you got your little bar up at the top that fills every new slide. This is their actual literal website. They
Yeah.
just said, forget articles. Nobody likes articles. Nobody
Yeah,
likes
who's
none.
got time to read articles?
And why would we bother putting our reels on Instagram or YouTube Shorts or anything? We're just going to use this social media format as a actual website news delivering technology. It's so sad that there is no articles. It is all
Oh,
is
how dare you?
reels.
How dare
Reels
you? There's
is
no article.
all.
The listener will have no idea that this is not an article. Russia could blow up Antarctica. The fight for what's hidden under the ice begins. Panel 2. Frozen riches. Antarctica's untouched reserves hold a staggering 511 billion barrels of Nephilim DNA. No, it's not Nephilim DNA. Of oil, potentially disrupting international treaties and global politics. Kind of like our theory about Antarctica being the last bastion of resources, and everyone's going to be fighting for it. I think we said that like 2 years ago too.
Yeah,
Or
well,
maybe
when the
even
poles
longer than
flip,
that,
it's
3-4
going to
years
be
ago.
tropical.
Right.
Antarctica, of course, not going to go into the whole messaging continent thing, but it
Yeah,
is it is the last frontier,
Right.
and not frontier necessarily for exploration because it's been explored. It is the last frontier for ideology.
Right.
It's the last frontier for the geopolitical space being another example of this, but who knows? We don't even know if space exists. But Antarctica, the last known place on Earth that could is sort of untouched enough to be a frontier for ideology and politics.
Right.
And of course, it's going to be a catalyst for World War III.
Resource rush. Russia's discovery in the British Antarctic territory has ignited debates over the ethics of exploiting untouched ecosystems for economic gain. Britain, why are you letting Russia discover things on your part of the territory? What are they doing?
Get to the blow up thing. Why would they blow it up?
Blowing up. Ecological fallout. Drilling for oil in Antarctica could threaten fragile ecosystems, accelerate climate change, and disrupt wildlife. I mean, that's one form of blowing up, I suppose. This one was interesting. Treaty tension. The Antarctic Treaty of 1959, designed to protect the region, is under strain as countries eye its resource wealth. And there's a picture of the landmass of alleged Antarctica, and it's got all the flags of the nations that have, a little piece of it in a circular sequence here. So, you got Greece, you got Japan, France in there, you got all the nations. So there you go. That's kind of I don't know, is that the game? Is that the ring where all these nations are battling for supremacy?
I don't think all of those nations are even in the. I guess maybe they're in the treaty.
Yeah, I think they're pretty. Yeah, there's a lot of them in the
claims.
treaty. So yeah. And there's like unofficial nations of the treaty too, like quasi nations and stuff.
Yeah.
Geopolitical clash. Territorial claims by Russia, Britain, Chile, and Argentina could spark conflicts over Antarctic oil reserves, raising global tensions. Power shift. If exploited, these reserves could position Russia as a dominant energy player, challenging OPEC and reshaping global markets. Are you scared yet, Basil? Putin can blow up all of Western energy by
Get to the bombs.
challenging
Get to the bombs.
OPEC. Oh, yeah, the bombs. Ethical dilemma. Is endangering one of the Earth's last pristine environments worth the economic rewards of petroleum wealth?
Okay, show me the bombs. Show me the missiles.
Petroleum wealth. Global debate. The discovery has intensified calls for international cooperation to protect Antarctica's natural heritage from resource exploitation. Future choice. Antarctica's fate now hinges on whether humanity prioritizes short-term profits or long-term sustainability. End of article. I don't know what.
Russia's going to blow up Antarctica.
Russia's going to blow up Antarctica.
What in the world are you doing, media? Russia could blow up Antarctica. Oh, they're being mean to the treaty. Now, just to understand, I'm like, okay, they didn't say anything about blowing things up. I went searching for it, and there's a lot of articles about it. And
Really?
the long and even the articles, I mean, it's so. Look, there's nothing that we don't already know. Russia cruising, looking around. They're of
like
course,
looking for
you're
stuff,
only
yeah.
you're only allowed to do science down there.
Right,
But
yeah, sure, yes.
the accusation is that no, Russia is looking for oil, and then Russia's like, yeah, looking for oil is science. Like that's geology. It's a lot of stuff. Which of course we're all looking for oil. So
Everyone's looking for oil.
We're
Yeah.
pointing out that Russia's doing it, but no, Russia could blow it up.
I think the implication is that for Russia to win this war, they're going to have to nuke Antarctica.
I don't think they know.
Break through the ice wall. Just nuke it.
If this is what the media means by blowing something up, we should never stress about a nuclear threat ever again, because they're just talking about, Russia's going to nuke Ukraine. That just means they're gonna come drive their gas guzzling cars and pour
and just
their
take over the resources.
sewage in the river. They're gonna blow it up.
Blow it up.
Yeah, the actual articles are even more impotent. They go on about how, Russia's looking for oil. Oh no, that's not good. You shouldn't do that because you're gonna get a lot of oil and get a lot of money, and then we won't have the oil and money. And then one of the subheadlines is just, why the UK isn't too alarmed by Russia's discovery. Okay, so the UK doesn't even care. So
They don't care.
What are you talking about? Blow it up. Now, for those who've been paying attention for a couple of years, we do know that there were some potential nuclear tests detected down in Antarctica a couple of years ago. We don't know who did it, so somebody might have actually blown up Antarctica, but we're not talking about
Hitler?
that. Yeah, the Nazi alien UFO bases had a little whoopsie doodles. They forgot to change their oil and blew the engine on the warp drive. And this is even better. Atlantic Treaty not expiring in 2048.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah,
Some
sure.
reports of the treaty or the mining ban in the region expiring in 2048 are not accurate. What? Some reports of the treaty or the mining ban in the region expiring in 2048 are not accurate, says Dodds. That date simply gives members a chance to call for a conference to review the treaty. Dodds described his fear as a red herring, adding, "What matters is how Russian activity is addressed by concerned parties." While he accepts that
everyone really hates Russia.
It's all
Makes
about
me
Russia.
wonder why did they hate Russia?
And meanwhile, you've got China going down there and harvesting thousands of penguin pineal glands
Oh, that's
for
right,
some
yeah.
sort of, interstellar astral projection program, something like that. While he accepts that mining in the region, economically speaking, does not look likely in any time soon, he says the international community, quote, "not doing anything does not make any of this less likely either."
Oh my gosh.
If that is not like a pure distillation of the impotent
they're, like,
betas
pouting.
who are trying
Oh,
to...
perfect. Right in time for Generation Beta. This is
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
perfect.
They said, he accepts that the whole thing doesn't seem likely, but not doing anything doesn't make it any less likely than not likely either. So Russia's gonna blow it up. A FCDO spokesperson said, quote, "The UK is fully committed to the Antarctic Treaty and its prohibition of commercial mineral exploitation. Last year, all parties to the Antarctic Treaty reaffirmed their ongoing commitment to work together under the agreed framework, which reserves Antarctica for scientific use only." Yeah, we'll see. Russia's going to blow it up. Then nobody gets it. This is Putin. It's like, if I can't have it, nobody can. Taking my ball and going home.
Mhm. All right.
It's just a matter of time, folks. It's on the bingo card. That means it's going to happen. All right. Well, this went longer than expected, and that's okay.
It's 3 hours. Yeah.
That's okay. So there is some contention about the New Year's Day show. Previous years, we've needed to take the New Year's Day off, often for traveling reasons or for family reasons. There, Gons. We probably have some planning to do or something, but I will consider it a mercy maybe to mention it here. We're still trying to figure out New Year's Day, and if we're unable to figure it out, please forgive us. Anything to say about that, Gonzo?
Yeah, a lot of it hinges on what the babysitter wants to do.
Yes.
So depending on what she wants to do, we'll see if we can even have a show that day. But we'll see. We'll see. I would anticipate that we won't be back. Yeah, I anticipate we won't be back till next Monday, which is probably what's going to happen. But it is a long time, but it's the same time as that we had from last episode to today. So
yeah, that's a good point. We'll see if we can figure something out. We're trying our very best to try to get stuff rocking and rolling again, but this time of year is difficult to navigate. All right, well, that's it today, folks. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you to all of our producers, changing hearts, changing minds, being salt and light, preserving some sense of sanity, despite the mainstream news's every attempt to drive us absolutely bonkers. It's very meaningful if that anybody produces in any way. And remember, if you're out there, you can't produce, you don't produce, you won't produce. Say a little prayer for the producers who do, because they are the ones who are providing this value to you. And who knows, maybe look forward to 2025. And how would your life be different if you were participating in something bigger than yourself, in something that was bringing God's plan to earth, whatever that may be, or at least keeping God's people sane as things tumble into the apocalypse. And pray about it, think about it. You can go to canarycry.support to learn more all about it. And that could be in the form of your art. Go to canarycry.art, upload it there, of course. But we do have people who help us out with their time. And I want to thank them now, starting with the Clippies.
Clippies.
Flippy. Flippy on those videos. Thanks.
Clippies be clippin'. Thank you very much to Kristen and Courtney and Jones for doing the hard work. Jones especially puts a lot of work into those. We're very impressed.
Do we have to address the thing there with the data? I think we got a note.
You're
yesterday.
talking about
I'll talk
Clank.
to you off
You're
air.
talking about Clank. That's something else. Oh,
you sure it's
no,
Clank?
maybe I didn't. Yeah, I guess I don't know what
I
you're
think it is a
talking
Clippy thing. Yeah, I'll mention it to you. I'll
okay.
After the
Yeah, we
the
might
show
need
here.
to clear some space.
Yep.
Thank you to the time stampers.
Time stampers, where are you? Time stampers, there you are.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Jade Bouncerson, thank you very much for time stamping last episode.
Right, they've
Quantum
been doing
Magic.
it for so long. It's a very important job that keeps this show going in ways that are rarely public.
Are you okay? Did he freeze? Are you frozen?
Whoa. Am I back?
Yeah. You just froze for a while.
Am I back now?
Yeah. What's up? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Some weird just happened. I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
I still can't tell if you can hear me.
I can.
Wave if you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know. I tried to open our Dropbox and it crashed my whole computer. So it looks like maybe we need to clear some space, huh? I think I heard you say Jade Bouncerson was the timestamper.
I did, yes.
Excellent. Other than that, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Thank you to the Sentinel for so many things, but for doing the Telegram channel. If you're a Telegram or Discord person, you can go to canarycry.party, find those communities. Get involved. Thank you to Adam42 for managing the Discord. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Clank, the wizard of technology. Data wizard.
I think Clank might be our data management officer or something in the
Clank
network,
is a
the
genius.
Canarian network state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be the one. Might have too much
all right.
power.
Other than that, share the show. Here's the thing, folks. New year, new you. Go share the show with somebody you've never shared it with before. That's it. I mean, look, the algorithms aren't going to share us. We're not going to get recommended. You're going to get unsubscribed. By the way, join the text message alert system. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. I'm mentioning it now because some people hear it at the beginning and then they forget. And they don't do it right away. And now this is your sign to do it. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Text us. Share the show. It's the only way that this show sees the light of day, is because people share it with their friends, share it with their family. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to wake up not only to the mainstream media, not only to the principalities and powers that are ruling this place, but also the sort of revelation that the spiritual world going on is significantly more real than what we consider the material world. There is a revival of some kind going on. And it is an act of God that things have aligned in such a way that makes this show perhaps the most shareable piece of information that aligns with these movements that we are seeing culminate right now. And so please do that. Appreciate it. Or if anybody over at YouTube wants to kind of take our account out of the shadows, let it operate just like any other regular account, that would be very nice. But besides that, share the show. We like to call it rattling cages. All you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
Thank you, everybody, for supporting us in 2024. I pray that everyone has a great New Year's, and we'll see you next year, 2025.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yep, that's right. All right. Well, that's it. That's a whole year of Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to tune in next year. But until then, think outside the cage.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
We will hunt you down and make you pay. Give me a break.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people zoo.
I love the Great Reset.
Toilets! Pay them more. This is not about freedom or personal choice.
This is the way.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Proud to be a Canarian, where at least my mind is free. And I don't listen to the lizard folk who want to take that life from me. And I'll proudly produce next to you to keep the show alive. Come on now, I'm just going right up the dome. This is good.
Bustle, 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 you're my boo-boo. Take
We have a chance to make hope ministry rhyme again. Are you ready to do that with me? Are you ready to move forward, not back? Are you ready to choose unity over division? Dignity over demolition? Choose truth over lies. Are you ready to choose freedom over democracy? Because that's America. Folks, I've been doing this a long, I know I only look like I'm 40, but I've been doing this a long time. But I've never been more optimistic about our future than I mean it. Just to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. There's nothing, huh? That's America. We're the United States of America. There's nothing.
It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
And a resounding baka flies through the air across the world. Why are you screaming like a wild bird?
Rattle their cage. They have a lot of people screaming randomly. Why don't you shout? It'll be their call out. They have a lot of people screaming randomly.
screaming like a wild bird. Cosmos, children
in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward. On board, the passengers experienced a 3 Gs of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Previous anchor.
We have Bezos. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space. Children in the cosmos. With your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos. Children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Armageddon's on the way.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry waits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry waits. Canary, cry waits. Oh, canary. Changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry waves. Oh, canary, cry waves. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry waves.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Canary cry, that's support.